I returned from Los Angeles last night.
What up, folks? Welcome to Nerd Report. As you all get notified right now, we are live covering the wildfires in Los Angeles. Unfortunately, the death toll has gone up, and there are new fires coming out. And I think one of the most concerning things I saw this morning is the fact that it looks like the winds may come back, and that would be insanely awful. I'm not sure if you could see me yet. Let me know in the comments how the audio and video is looking. We're having trouble with the internet. Hopefully we don't get taken off. I don't know if the YouTube networks are down, if the fires are affecting it. I heard that YouTube is actually located in Los Angeles, so I don't know what's going on with that. Apparently there's also misinformation out there mixed with the truth. So I don't know. I'm going to be reporting the best I can as far as the things that are officially said and stuff. I don't want to mislead or try to sensationalize shit for stuff for views. That's not the way I want things to do. Lone Fire, thank you. Watching from Twitch. Miles, thank you. Mad Scientist watching from Twitch. We are waiting. President Biden has spoken. We're going to see what he has to say in a minute and stuff. And the blame game has started, folks. Who's responsible for this? What is up, Shelly? What is up, Jennifer? What is up? Let me know if you guys got notified in the comments. We got about 40 people in the house and rising. Cultural call out in the house, Brandon. Everyone here, let me know if you got notified. Let me know what country, city, or state you are watching from. Parts of LA are not every part of LA is under fire, but there are some things that are concerning. Miles, thank you and stuff. I've been going on a lot. Did you guys get notified? Everyone here got notified? All right. Shelly got notified. Thank you so much. As we get this coverage done, I've heard stuff's happening in Pasadena. Unfortunately, let's get the likes up so we can get through the algorithm here. Let's get the likes up. Kim, how you doing? Got notified. What country, city, or state are you watching from? Chicago in the house. Thank you very much. Alaska. All right, things are working.
Well, good afternoon.
Could you all hear the president?
I returned from Los Angeles last night, and
double checking. Could you guys hear the president? He cleared his throat. Could you guys hear it? And then I'll play the video.
Well, good afternoon. I returned from Los Angeles.
Ready? All right, here we go. I'm going to play this. Let's react to it together in the comments.
Good afternoon. I returned from Los Angeles last night, and the devastation out there is catastrophic in California. Thousands of houses, schools, businesses burned to the ground. Communities wiped out, lives lost, families forever changed. They're the worst fires to ever hit Los Angeles, ever. And as soon as these fires broke out, I approved the Fire Management Assistance Grants. That's a term of art and how we get help for local officials. These grants cover California's firefighting costs for things like firefighting equipment, firefighter salaries, and special capabilities like aircraft. Next, yesterday I immediately approved Governor Newsom's request for what they call, and I know this is all sounds like government talk, but it's called the Major Disaster Declaration.
Folks, give me a second. I'm going to try to make it a little louder. We got President Biden next to Kamala Harris speaking right now. We're going to go over what they said and stuff. And yeah, your opinions are welcome in the chat as we continue right here. I'm going to start it again because I know I see a lot of you coming in.
And the devastation out there is catastrophic in California.
Sounds
Thousands
okay.
of houses, schools, businesses burned to the ground. Communities wiped out, lives lost, families forever changed. They're the worst fires to ever hit Los Angeles, ever. And as soon as these fires broke out, I approved the Fire Management Assistance Grants. That's a term of art and how we get help to local officials. These grants cover California's firefighting costs for things like firefighting equipment, firefighter salaries, and special capabilities like aircraft. Next, yesterday I immediately approved Governor Newsom's request for what they call, and I know this is all sounds like government talk, but it's called the Major Disaster Declaration. This declaration allows folks at the request of the governor. The declaration allows folks who have been impacted to get immediate cash assistance to cover things like everything from groceries to baby formula to prescriptions. Because as you've seen and you reported, a lot of these guys are burned to the ground. There's not a single thing left in their homes.
Yeah.
And so if they contact disasterassistance.gov, anybody who's lost everything or anything of consequence, disasterassistance.gov or 1-800-2, I beg your pardon, 1-800-62.
Sorry, man. Sorry, but this is pathetic. He can't read I wish Kamala would just be president for a bit. This shit's important, man. Put your egos aside. Put Kamala Harris in there.
Disasterassistance.gov or 1-800-2, 1-800-2, I beg your pardon, 1-800-621-3362. That's what they, disasterassistance.gov, 1-800-621-3362 to get the kind of help they need for everything from the basics that they don't have access to right now. And this morning, due to the magnitude of the disaster, I was talking with the governor. He requested if I could increase the federal funding that was authorized under this legislation from 75% to 90%. We're increasing it to 100% of all the costs to be covered by the federal government for both the fire management assistance grants and the elements of what they call the disaster declaration. So today I'm announcing that the federal government will cover 100% of the cost for 180 days. This is going to pay for things like debris and hazard material removal, temporary shelters, first responders' salaries, and all necessary measures to protect life and property. And folks, I want to underscore, I told the governor and local officials, spare no expense to do what they need to do and contain these fires and in their communities that have really been devastated. And we're doing literally everything we can at a federal level. That's also why I call this group of folks around this table of all relevant federal departments and agencies together to discuss what more we can do. And some of the folks around the screen as well. Before we begin things, here's an update on where things stand right now. First, we're focused on helping contain these fires. Over the last 24 hours, the United States Forest Service, working with state and local responders, has suppressed over 50 fire starts. And the fire in the Hollywood Hills has been contained by brave firefighters risking their lives. Right now, 3 major fires are still burning in the Pacific Palisades, in Pasadena, and in Sylmar. I want to be clear. What I know from talking to the governor, that there are concerns out there that there's also been a water shortage. The fact is, the utilities understandably shut off power because they're worried the lines that they carry.
Wait, is he saying the utility departments shut the water down? That's why there's no water?
That there's also been a water shortage. The fact is, the utilities understandably shut off power because they're worried the lines that they carry energy were going to be blown down and spark additional fires. But the Cal Fire, when it did that, it cut off the ability to generate pumping the water.
Okay, so according to the president, I may be this may be wrong. Please correct me. I'm not perfect. According to what I just heard, he's claiming the utility departments cut the water off to prevent fires, or the power off to prevent fires, except that causes more fires. Sounds like they're trying to take the blame away. It's not their fault. Did I hear that right? Let me know in the comments.
What I know from talking to the governor, that there are concerns out there that there's also been a water shortage. The fact is, the utilities understandably shut off power because they're worried the lines that they carried energy were going to be blown down and spark additional fires. But the Cal Fire, when it did that, it cut off the ability to generate pumping the water. That's what caused the lack of water in these hydrants. And so Cal Fire is bringing in generators to get these pumps up and working again so that there's no longer a shortage of water coming out of these hydrants. I'm also surging all federal resources possible to Southern California, including 400 additional federal firefighters, over 30 firefighting helicopters and planes, federally supplied firefighting planes and helicopters, and 8 Department of Defense C-1.
Kamala Harris's look here, she knows this is a bad look. I did not vote for her, but this is serious. At least she could put words together, I think, kind of. I think she should be the one delivering this message. Also to show what kind of leader she could have been if there was that in her. This is sad.
400 additional federal firefighters, over 30 firefighting helicopters and planes, federally supplied firefighting planes and helicopters, and 8 Department of Defense C-130s that are equipped to suppress wildfires. Today, the Secretary of Defense also authorized 500 wildfire ground clearing personnel from the Defense Department. And I've directed the department to continue working with Governor Newsom to identify additional resources that can be provided for public safety and security. And we've secured additional firefighters and firefighting aircraft from our ally in Canada as well. I also want everyone in Southern California to know we're going to keep at it. We're sticking with this. We expect there may be a temporary break in the winds, but in some areas, the winds are likely to continue well into next week. And so we're going to continue to sending everything, literally every resource we can find that's appropriate to help the governor and the first responders.
She is literally, Kamala Harris is literally rolling her eyes in shock how declined our president is.
Second, we're focused on helping people who have been displaced or in many cases lost everything. You've reported on, you've seen the homes just burned to the ground, whole areas burned to the ground, large areas. They've been displaced and they've lost everything. As I said, since the fire started, FEMA has been working with the state to help residents get shelter, groceries, prescription, and other critical goods like baby formula. We're also sent FEMA Director Criswell to Los Angeles to manage our response on the ground. She was supposed to be on this call, but we have a deputy here because she is out in the field with the governor right now, surveying what's going on. Let me close with a message to the people of Southern California. We are with you. We're not going anywhere. To the firefighters and first responders, you are heroes. Many of these firefighters are out there risking their lives and some, well, I won't go beyond that, but risking their lives. And while their own homes are in danger, their families are in danger. To the firefighters and first responders.
Remember, folks, they never have officially said that Joe Biden has some kind of decline or anything. So we're supposed to judge him as he is healthy. And Kamala Harris is side-eyeing him. She really shouldn't do that.
California. We are with you. We're not going anywhere. To the firefighters and first responders, you are heroes. Many of these firefighters are out there risking their lives and some, well, I won't go beyond that, but risking their lives, and while their own homes are in danger, their families are in danger. To the firefighters and first responders, you really are, it's not hyperbole, six, you're heroes. You're genuinely heroes. And the worst, this is the most widespread, devastating fire in California's history. It's amazing. And there's nobody understands it better than the press. Have been covering this on a minute-to-minute basis. And you literally have to run into the flames, these firefighters. You know, that old expression, God made man, then he made a few firefighters. Who runs into flames? You know, in doing so, you're leaving your own.
Okay, folks, I hate to stop it there. First of all, guys, thanks for subscribing. We have new subscribers today. Hit the subscribe on the very top right hand. Subscribe to Nerd Report. He says this thing, and look at Kamala's face. It's so weird, man. There's people. California's in danger right now, and these people don't take. I don't know. I'm lost. I'm lost, man. I'm lost.
Literally have to run into the flames, these firefighters. You know, that old expression, God made man, then he made a few firefighters. Who runs into flames? You know, in doing so, you're leaving your own families and who may be in harm's way as well. So we owe you. And we're going to make sure that you get every resource you need, every possible resource you need. You know, to the families who have been impacted by this disaster, you're living through a nightmare. I know. And I promise you, we're going to help you get through this and eventually recover and rebuild. I'm going to turn it over now to the Vice President before we go on to the folks in the various cabinet positions as well as agencies that control these issues.
The reason the VPs are there is because if the president can't continue to govern, they're supposed to take over. Instead, she's just sitting next to him, rolling her eyes.
Madam Vice President, I know you're
all right. She's going to
executive,
speak now.
so
Thank
fire
God.
away.
I think.
No pun intended.
Indeed. Thank you, Mr. President, and also for the work that everyone around this table has been doing with the appropriate sense of urgency, because this is an urgent matter. What we have seen in California, and in particular in Southern California, is apocalyptic in terms of the nature of it and the unprecedented nature of it as well. And what we are seeing is a situation that is extremely dynamic. It is very much in play, and to some degree unpredictable, because we are literally waiting to see which way the wind blows. And I cannot praise enough the local leaders, most of whom I have talked with, and in particular our firefighters, who, as the president has said, they are working around the clock. They are working 12-hour, even longer shifts, and they are doing it with a sense of optimism, but also with an understanding of how serious this moment is and how important their work is to real lives and real people. Thousands of families have been displaced. Many of those families with young children with nowhere to go. And what we know is that this is a matter of current urgency, but this is also something that is going to have an impact for months and years to come. And on that point, I will also make note of the fact that sadly, many insurance companies have canceled insurance for a lot of the families who have been affected and will be affected, which is only going to delay or place an added burden on their ability to recover.
Because the governor did not take precautionary measures for the houses or the fire to be that bad. He hasn't taken those measures for years. So the insurance companies saw that and they expected a disaster. So she should have really said, but she won't. In my opinion, she should have said, due to the governor's lack of preemptive measures against the fire, the insurance companies, in fear of going bankrupt, pulled out their insurance benefits out of the homes. And now the people who lost their homes are on the hook for the lost. That's what she really should have said. But the buck stops with Newsom. I thought we weren't supposed to play politics, man.
And I think that is an important point that must be raised, and hopefully there can be some way to address that issue, because these families, so many of them, otherwise will not have the resources to recover in any meaningful way. And many of them have lost everything. In the midst, however, of all of the trauma that has occurred, we have seen extraordinary acts of heroism. I'm hearing countless stories of strangers helping strangers. People who are opening their homes where they are intact and have not had to evacuate, opening their homes to neighbors, to friends of neighbors, feeding them and providing shelter for them. And I do think that
By the way, mods, do not ban people. If there's debate, do not ban people. Mods, you got to ask me before you ban anyone. Do not ban anyone. Please ask me. We don't ban people here. Please. Unless they keep going, spamming or stuff like that. Also, if you're in here, respect the mods. If they kindly ask you to stop doing something, it's probably against our rules. We want you, even if you disagree or agree, we still want you as part of the community. All right? But we can't have chaos. We can't have chaos. Exactly. They're warning you. If you get a warning, you're doing something, just let it go. Respect the warning. I know people are frustrated right now.
it speaks to the best of who we are as a country, which is in times of crisis, we find the heroes among us who we may not have known before, but act out of a sense of courage, but also a sense of community. And I applaud all those who are approaching this crisis with that spirit. And the bottom line is this: there are incredible heroes every day who are working right now in California on the front lines of this fire. And in particular, I want to thank the firefighters for all they are doing. They are, as the president said, putting themselves in harm's way. And they are doing the work that is about helping people who are perfect strangers to them and doing it in some of the highest moments of need that anyone could face. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Liz Sherwood-Randall.
Turn it back to me.
Okay, back to the president.
Look, I've had a chance to speak with a lot of elected officials, including the senators, some of the congresspersons in the region, as well as the vice president as well. And I want to be clear that one of the reasons I've asked this larger group to get together is because they control the very agencies that are needed from a federal level to get things done. And, you know, we're in a situation where the U.S. Forest Service Chief, Randy Moore, is here. And he's going to provide an update in the fire situation in Los Angeles and discuss how the U.S. Fire Service, the U.S. Forest Service is assisting Los Angeles and the state of California with fighting the wildfire, including the action his team has taken to suppress new fire stars. So, Chief, why don't you fire away?
Thank you, Mr. President, Madam Vice President. It's great to see you. I, too, consider California my home.
Yes.
And so it's great to be here to talk about this dramatic situation that we have. So the Forest Service and the Department of Interior are actively engaged in supporting the response to the wildfires in Southern California. And there are 4 major fires that we currently have going on. The Forest Service is in unified command with the LA County, as well as other local city agencies. We are looking at the Eaton, the Hearst, and the Lydia. And if you look at that area there, that's the northernmost part of that area where the fires are taking place. The Palisades fire, which CAL FIRE is in control of. And then we have a new start, which is this Sundown fire that just started last night. And it also has potential to expand quite significantly just based on the location it's at, but also the winds that are expected to continue. Right now, when I look at the mutual aid system in California, I want you to know that it's second to none in terms of how that system works and how it really moves to activate federal firefighting community and how it is activated and engaged.
We're working with you.
You know, every year we prepare for these Santa Ana winds.
As quickly as.
It's just
Exactly.
that
Every year you
what is
prepare for
happening now is happening sooner. It's happening at a time now where we normally are at our lowest point in the fire year. And the fact that these fires are taking place now, it says that there are things that are going on in our climate that is creating true.
Yeah, no bullshit, man. No. Listen, there's also things about again, Governor Newsom has been saying that our climate, the way it is now, fire season is year round. Karen Bass defunded the fire department by $17+ million. They didn't fill the reservoirs with water. So if it's so now they're going to ask us, they're going to ask you for money now. They're going to ask you for more money. And Californians are going to pay because all they're going to say, climate change. Oh, you're going to give them their money and it's not going to go to the problem. This fire right now has nothing to do with climate change, dude. Heather, whatever. Thanks for the support. Hearts for Heather, whatever. Hearts for Heather, whatever for the support. They don't let them say climate change. They don't believe in it. If they believed in it, then they would reinforce. They would over budget the fire department, which is the one in charge of saving us from disasters from climate change. Don't let them say that, man. Don't let them. Call them out when they say that. Let me know in the comments if you agree.
It's happening sooner. It's happening at a time now where we normally are at our lowest point in the fire year. And the fact that these fires are taking place now, it says that there are things that are going on in our climate that is creating truly year-round fire situations, and it's something that we all need to be mindful of, and this is a good indication of that. To give you an example, that if a fire starts from any ignition source during these Santa Ana winds, it has the potential for explosive growth and spread. And when that happens under these wind-driven conditions, it's very difficult to control. Now, in addition to this, when these winds are high, the aviation resources cannot fly. So it limits a lot of the potential area of support. As of this morning, there were over 4,000 firefighters that was assigned to these large fires.
No water, though.
600 or so were currently federal work, which means Forest Service and Department of Interior. And that doesn't include many who are assigned to their home units to provide initial attack. To give you an idea of the unsung heroes in these fire type conditions, in the last 24 hours, we've had 50 starts, and the initial attack success has been wonderful. So we've stopped a potential for 50 additional fires to be added to these 4 significant fires that we currently have. And that's what I mean by having initial attack crews stay put or pre-positioned across the state based on intelligence that we're gathering. And so I wanted to mention that because we talk about the active fire suppression, but there's so much that takes place behind the scenes that limits the amount of fires that our firefighters are having to respond to. The president did an excellent job of mentioning all of the resources that's available and that are assigned to the fire. I won't go over those, but we have a number of equipment that's out there that when the winds allow us, would be in the air fighting those fires. We also have a number of private contract crews that we're working with. We're working wonderfully with the state, county, and other federal firefighters, also the tribal firefighters as well in the communities.
Look, I know I respect your opinion, but when you're saying Southern California has not had rain in the last 6 months, this is 100% climate change. No, it's not. California is a desert. The water, the little water that comes to California needs to be saved. It was raining like crazy before those 6 months. It was raining every day. There were mass flash floods a year ago everywhere. They didn't save any of that water. This has nothing to do with climate change. They didn't go it rained so hard that this is actually a result of it, because all the branches spawned and then those branches dried up and the government didn't bother taking care of the dry branches. This is fuel for fires. I disagree, respectfully disagree. Plus, if climate change is something they're so scared of, why don't they fund the fire department?
And we're looking at these MAFs, which we call the Modular Area Firefighting System Air Tankers. There's 8 of them. And there were,
California is a desert.
like I said, this time of the year,
All the green that you see on California, in California, most of it is that's man-made.
we're not ready for that. But within the next 24 to 48 hours, we'll have all 8 that's available for assistance. These aircrafts require lead planes to lead them into these fires. And so we're having to go through that whole process and ramp up really quick.
Welcome to the new
get
sub, by
inspections
the way.
and
Thank
the
you.
check rides so that these are qualified and are able to go. We're also working with our Canadian partners to mobilize 2 CL-415. These are water scoopers. They will clear customs on Monday, and they will be available after they clear federal inspections and the check rides. An important thing to know is that these aviation resources require a lot of support in the form of mechanics, airport space, helicopter managers, area supervisions. And so we work with our state and local and federal agencies to identify these aviation support resources to be sure that we can respond effectively. Now, I had mentioned the amount of fires that we've responded to in the last 48 hours, and I mentioned the 50 fires in the last 24 hours. We continue to have new starts. We're continuing to monitor the types of activities. We have about 8,000 firefighters on standby to add to this if need be. Right now, we are going to monitor the number of aircraft and firefighters we have in that small space. Because as you can imagine, there's only so much you can put in a space before you create other challenges there. The airspace in that area is pretty tight. You have commercial airports and others in that area. You also, unfortunately, have drones in the air, which is a concern to our pilots and to the safety of the aircraft. And so we have to be.
There's drones out there?
I only bring it up to let you know that this is not a very easy environment to operate within. Our firefighters, both federal, state, and local and tribal, are doing just an outstanding job and what I consider to be some significant challenges.
By the way, I'm going to be playing Karen Bass's latest press conference right after this, so stay tuned.
In a significant environment. I think, as I look at some of the questions that you may tend to ask, it's typical that the causes of fires isn't known immediately because resources are really focused on response. However, all the fire causes are investigated, and I want to be upfront with that. Each one of these fires will be investigated to see what the cause and origins of them are. And what we know now is that it would be unusual for there to be lightning-caused fires in Southern California at this time of the year.
No lightning.
Fire investigations are the responsibility of the jurisdiction on where the fire starts, and we're ready to assist with this if and when needed. Thank you all.
Thank you. Randy, tell me about the conditions that we're dealing with on the ground. What's most concerning to you?
Most concerning right now is the wind. Because the wind is limiting our ability to put aircraft in the air. Aircraft will not put that fire out, but it gives our firefighters, our boots on the ground, a really good opportunity to put.
Look at this, the virtual tourist. Apparently, Lewis is afraid to confront truth when presented to him. What are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about? Your opinion is not truth. Just because someone disagrees with you doesn't mean that's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous. Folks, have I backed off from anyone's comments? I don't see every single one of your comments. Dude, the world doesn't evolve around you. Have I? I haven't. You know why I don't avoid? You're saying I'm afraid of what is it? I'm afraid of truth when it. The reason I specifically don't avoid this because I know when I'm right, and I love to highlight stuff when I'm right. So if you say something and I know I'm right, I would highlight it just to show people that I'm right. I know who cares what he's saying, but I'm just wondering what people have say these weird things, and I'm just like, what are you talking about? I specifically don't avoid the controversial stuff because I want to debate.
Put the fire out with a little help from retardant and water drops. With these Santa Ana winds, what's interesting about this part of California, these Santa Ana winds.
Okay, so here you go, your question. Who's going to pay a person to clear the brush when you're $5 billion in debt as a state? Lewis, come on. What are you talking about? You know what my stance on that is? We're the highest taxed state in the union, right? These people mishandle our funds. And they're using the keyword climate change to tax us more because there's dummies that will vote in more taxes so they could go on vacation and never fund the fire department. How are they going to clear I don't care how they pay for it. You're saying that we're $5 billion in debt. How are they going to pay to clear the brush? Well, when they have the money, they don't clear it. That's their problem. We gave them that money. We gave the government the funds to clear the brushes. And I don't know what happened to that money. Could you explain it to me since you know everything?
Winds comes off the ocean usually in the mornings, and then you have the sundowner winds in the afternoon pushing the wind back the other way. And so while you're fighting to stop the fire this way in the morning, you're also fighting to stop the fire from coming back at you in the afternoon. The sundowner winds are not significant as we speak, but those are the challenges we have in that part of California. And so again, our firefighters are doing just an outstanding job of working in that type of environment, which their lives are really at risk pretty significantly under these conditions.
Thank you. I told you, Administrator Griswold is off with the governor and inspecting some of these areas. So we have Bob Fenton. Bob, can you hear me? Hello, Bob.
Sir, Mr. President, I hear you.
Fire away.
You hear me, sir? I'm there. So the administrator is with right now the governor, the mayor of LA, county, local officials, getting a briefing on the fire to really understand what the needs are as we move forward, not only with regard to the firefight, which
by the way, Jaquit, thanks for being a member.
Chief Moore was talking about, but also to regard to support in the population displaced. Over 360,000 under mandatory evacuations, hundreds of thousands more with warnings. And so what we're doing now is ensuring that that we're able to provide any support to provide mass care to individuals, any assistance for the sheltering, any assistance for feeding, and then through the programs that we provide through our individual assistance that you authorized through the declaration, we're able to assist individuals with funding to offset their hotel costs. So applying to FEMA on the 1-800-621-3362 number is important, or disasterassistance.gov. We're sending teams out to the shelters. We know that there'll be a huge need after fires for mental health specialists, and working with HHS on providing that. As the Vice President talked about, insurance is problematic in California, especially with the fires. And so not only do some of the changes in our authorities help now with those that are underinsured, which we see more and more, but we want those that are insured to start seeking assistance to their insurance companies. Our programs can help individuals, especially displaced and who have lost their homes, with rental assistance until they can rebuild, and ultimately provide temporary housing. So we're in discussions with state and local governments on how we will meet those housing needs, both in the interim by using available stockage here, but how can we help rebuild? And then lastly, I would just say that we're really focused on already starting to discuss debris removal and all the hazardous waste that comes from fire and how to remove that safely between local, state, and federal government. We'll rely on federal partners, US EPA, the Corps of Engineers, and others to be part of that technical assistance help to support the safe removal so that ultimately we could rebuild. And one of the things that we will start doing in the next couple of days is starting that discussion on how do we rebuild, and not only rebuild, but rebuild more resilient and bring together state, local, and federal agencies to start that discussion in the weeks to months ahead. And so right now we're focused on meeting the immediate needs of those displaced, but already starting to work on recovery and rebuild, and bringing all our authorities and the full weight of the federal government and all the resources that you've authorized to help California in that endeavor.
Bob, what do you think is the biggest challenge?
Also, I
sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think the biggest challenge is going to be the mental health stress that is put on individuals that have lost everything. Fires are, so drastic. They destroy everything very quickly. Individuals don't have a lot of notice to leave, and so I think there's going to be a significant mental health strain, followed by a need to help individuals recover and rebuild. And the Vice President is exactly right. I suspect that many have insurance, many are underinsured. And insurance is difficult to get, and some might have lost their insurance or been canceled by insurance companies. And I think that's something we need to continue to work on.
Why were they canceled, though? You guys won't mention that.
As a government at all levels, but something where there'll be gaps in assistance that we will need to bring in not only federal agencies, but nonprofits, private sector to help meet those needs.
I think we're going to have to do that. In addition, the fact is that the two declarations I signed, provide for example, the rebuilding of churches and schools and certain, but not businesses, not business centers. And so that's going to be a gigantic cost as well. But the debris removal is a big deal. And that's going to take a long time, isn't it?
Yeah, it will take some time to remove the debris. In California, unfortunately, we've had a lot of experience with fighting fires and removing debris. And so it will take months to a year. This is a very widespread with significant damage to infrastructure. And we want to not only immediately remove the hazards, things like propane tanks, some of the power cells that are there, and other contaminants that may be in households, and make sure that they're safe to re-enter and re-look for personal effects. But then the second part is removing that ash, and what we've done before is help people with the removal so that we could get down on the grade and then immediately start rebuilding.
All right, I appreciate what you're doing. And like you said, 360,000 people have been evacuated so far.
Sure, appreciate.
It's crazy.
What were you going to say?
Yes, sir. I just want to let you know I'm on also with the fire administrator from FEMA, who's been working with the local fire chiefs, and I didn't know if you had any questions or she wanted to add anything to this discussion, Chief Lori Moore is on.
Well, I've been talking to them, so Chief, you want to add anything to this?
I will, sir. Thank you very much. And as you might know, I've been here, got here last night. It was important to get here on the ground with the fire chiefs and the firefighters that are here. So I've been with LA County, LA City Fire Chief since last night. We're at the Palisades.
The insurance companies canceled the insurance from a lot of people because they knew that it was dangerous, that the situation in California where the government did not take care of dry wheat, dry branches, the neglect of the water supply, they knew that was all gonna eventually come to haunt them. The insurance companies pulled out because they knew there was going to be they probably thought there was going to be mass fires due to the fact that they probably saw that the fire department got defunded. There wasn't enough firemen. That coupled with it rained like crazy as of last year. So that means a lot of new plants that would dry up, causing fuel. So even if they were insured, if they didn't pull out, they would have been bankrupt. It's crazy, but they're not going to mention that here because it makes Newsom look bad.
EOC right now, as Regional Administrator Fenton just said, with the governor, with the FEMA administrator getting the brief. The coordination of resources, it helps for us to be here, U.S. Fire Administration, as part of the response because we're on the ground. We're able to explain ground truth and coordinate resources, streamline the communication between federal. We're also here checking on the firefighters on the front lines. And I really appreciate what you and the Vice President both said about the boots on the ground, because these are their communities and nobody wants to fight the fire and save these communities more than these firefighters who are boots on the ground from the very moment the ignition began. So we're checking on them, and I will tell you they're exhausted. Obviously, many of them have been more than 6 hours on this now. They are able to take a quick nap sometimes in the truck, but they are on the job and they keep fighting. And so they need to know that they matter. And so it's important that I show up with them, to see them, to say thank you, and to let them know that we are watching, that we know what they're doing. We want to make sure that we're here when injuries happen. And so we did have an injured firefighter in LA County, fell through a 3-story roof just about 2 hours ago. So several major injuries, but in the hospital. I'll be going to check on him shortly. And it's about the response too, because often while they're in the midst of the response, these chiefs can't explain everything that is happening. And there's a lot of questions, as you might imagine, and are addressing. And so it's important that we're here to help explain why the fire's moving the way it is, the fire dynamics, helping people understand. And when there's questions, as you know, about the response or about the water, to help people understand that it's not over if there's not water in the hydrants. We have tenders, we have tankers, they're doing rescue.
Use them then.
So there's a lot of work to be done, and controlling these perimeters. There's so much work that these firefighters are doing beyond the direct suppression on these fires. And so that's why we're here, and to continue to learn, because every one of these tragedies, unfortunately, is a lesson to how to prevent the next. And so it's important that we do that as well. And so we're going to remain on the ground here, sir, on your behalf for a couple other days to make sure that we are part of this conversation.
Well, you are a part of the conversation. That's why I went out to California yesterday and met with those firefighters and met with those police officers, because there's also worry about looting and a number of other things. So
Maybe the
they
looting
are
worse
really
than they're telling
incredible
us.
people. They're making such sacrifice. But I think you're right. We have to provide them all that is humanly possible for them to be able to do their job. And there's going to be a need. I want to say it again. And we all know it around this table. There's a need for some help in terms of the psyche of these folks. There's going to be real problems regarding to the mental health issues. And we got to make sure we're prepared to deal with it. All right. Now, Deputy Secretary of Defense, Kate Hicks. Secretary, why don't you tell us what you and I and others have been talking about the Defense Department doing and what they're prepared to do now?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Oh,
Madam Vice
I'm looking
President.
at
I'm right here.
the screen, I know.
Yeah, I surprised you.
Yeah,
Uh, We are very much leaning in here at the Defense Department. We, of course, are always looking for how we can support state and local partners and, of course, our interagency partners in the federal sector that you've already heard from.
Folks, I appreciate everyone who wants to contribute to the conversation, but please refrain from doing all caps. Once again, please refrain from doing all caps in the comments. That being said, you are welcome. Just be respectful. Also, I want to thank all the new subscribers. We're approaching 100,000 subscribers. Please consider subscribing. Thank you very much. Let me know what country, city, or state you're watching from as well in the comments. And press that 1 if you're new.
And that includes every tool that we believe we can leverage that causes us to always lean forward to make sure our partners understand what we could bring and be responsive to requests that they're coming forward with. And we have been in receipt of some requests. I will turn, with your permission in a moment, to Chairman Brown. And then we also have on the screen with us the NORTHCOM Commander, General Guillot, who is our focal point for responses here in the United States homeland. Secretary Austin this morning out in Germany already in his opening remarks for the final Ukraine Defense Contact Group spoke explicitly to our intent and efforts underway now to provide search support. And so I just want to emphasize it's so important to us that he's put that front and center even while he's concluding this important work overseas. You had mentioned some of the efforts we already have underway. We are ready, as I said, to engage with our partners on further efforts. With your permission, I'll turn to Chairman Brown.
please. Mr. Chairman.
Mr. President, Madam Vice President, as you highlight, we do have 500 personnel already identified to be able to support. Not so much in firefighting, because it takes some 10 days of training that would be required. And we don't want to pull firefighters away from that, but they can also support with rock clearance capabilities, commodity distribution. We talked about the airlift with their helicopters. There's 10 U.S. Navy helicopters as well as 10 Guard helicopters. The winds have been challenging to get them airborne. They can also help with the ground search and rescue, incident response, awareness, and the medical support. Those Marines will be in place in the next 24 to 48 hours. The California National Guard also has, by tomorrow, they'll have about 1,000 service members that'll be available to be able to support as well. About 250 of those actually have some firefighting capability, and they can be trained in the next 24 to 48 hours to also support firefighting. As is mentioned, the C-130s with the modular aerial firefighting system, 2 of those are already
Explain
channel
what that means to the average listener.
Yeah, so what it is, it's a C-130 that's modified. It has a systems put into a modular systems put into the back of the C-130, and so it's able to push out either water or the slurry retardant associated with. And as was highlighted, they're usually prepared to do this during the firefighting season. This is several months prior to when they would typically do this. And so there's 2 C-130s that are already at Channel Island, just northwest of Los Angeles. The other 6 will be there within the next 24 hours or so. The first flight will start tomorrow, and then they will continue to be prepared to be able to support. We're also looking at surrounding bases that may have ability to bed down any displaced personnel or families. We've got about 1,000 beds that have been identified at either Edwards, March, or Fort Irwin there in California. In addition, we're using March Reserve Base as a incident response area and getting that set up. Mr. President, last thing I would say is what I've, and before I turn to General Guillot, what we really try to do is identify things that we know we could lean forward on before there's even an ask. We want to make sure we cut down the timeline to get provided capability. We also want to make sure, I know that General Guillot is communicating that with Ms. Griswold from FEMA, so that we want to make sure we, as I say, provide an a la carte menu of all the things we have available. So even if they don't have time to think about it, we're already looking ahead. Last thing I would say is when I met this afternoon with my staff, the thing we also talked about is there's the immediate response, but there's also, as was highlighted, the longer term response of things that we'd have to be able to look at in recovery. And so we're already thinking ahead of.
Folks, I'm going to put a poll for our subscribers in the chat. A poll for our subscribers. It's going to ask, should the governor resign? I don't think he will, but should he resign? I'm going to put that poll for our subscribers. So make sure to subscribe and you'll be able, I'm going to put the poll up in a second.
What options DoD be able to provide to support? Hitting your questions, and then I can turn
You
it
guys
to
have been immediately responsive. Thank you. I mean, you're right on top of things. But let's turn to General.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, and thank you, Chairman. Northcom, on behalf of the Department of Defense, is aggressively taking action to deliver capabilities to California as soon as they are requested. So in addition to the aircraft and ground forces and the installation support that President Biden and Chairman Brown mentioned, we've identified other capabilities such as helicopter support, search and rescue, both from the ground or from the air, commodity distribution, route clearance, and medical capabilities that we've postured and have leaned forward to make sure that they're able to deploy to California and operate just as quickly as they are requested. And to do that, we're cooperating very closely with FEMA, with the state of California, and the National Guard Bureau to deliver the right capabilities at the right time for the women and men of California.
Well, the Defense Department, I gotta say, has stepped up immediately. They didn't even, matter of fact, you got to call what you need before I even asked. So thank you all. And you have incredible capacity and capabilities. It's just getting them in place as quickly as possible is the most important thing. You're doing that right now. So I think you're going to see an awful lot of help coming based on what you want to do, what you can do, and the entire department is surging capacities, in my understanding, including the aerial equipment to fight these fires. So thank you very much. Now, I'd like to speak to our Department of Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm.
Once again, we have a poll in the comments. Should the governor resign?
Power outages.
A lot of people think he shouldn't.
Impacts on the power grid in Los Angeles area. And Madam Secretary, it's all yours, wherever you are.
We're looking to see if she's still on the screen. She's had to board a plane, so if she has had to board, the Deputy Secretary, Dave Turk, is sitting at the end of the table.
It looks like she is on her
It looks like
plane,
she
so
has to
Dave, it's all you.
Yes.
Fire away.
I'll give the update, Mr. President. And she's on the way, Mr. President, to Puerto Rico again on official visit, given the island-wide blackout there, and doing everything we can to help on that front per your guidance and the Vice President's direction as well. And of course, again, per your guidance, we're doing everything we can to help, working with partners, including our utility partners, but also other federal partners as well. As of just coming into this meeting, there's about a little over 400,000 customer outages in California. Important to note that these are both actual outages, power that's actually been disrupted because of the fire, but also proactive shut-offs, just as you mentioned as well, to prevent fire ignition and the spread of fire. We've got two main utilities out there, Southern Cal Edison and the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power. And we're in close and continuing contact, including with their CEOs, Pedro and Janice, as well, including calls with them just a few hours ago, just to make sure we're doing everything we can to help. We're coordinating with those utilities and with utilities literally across the country to make sure that we've got all the capabilities that we have in the federal government, but our utility partners to provide that. I want to thank you, Mr. President. You joined a call just a couple months ago with Liz and our secretary to thank all of these utility CEOs. We've got this phenomenal partnership with utilities all across the country. It's called mutual assistance. And if any utility in any one region needs help, all the other utilities, and we last unleashed this phenomenal partnership to bring 40,000 utility workers to Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, the affected regions with the two hurricanes back to back. And everybody
Continue to talk to me. They've been deployed so many places.
Well, having been with the utilities out, we were all in Colorado for this meeting. They just appreciated you taking the time to thank them for their personal leadership. And it's the utility CEOs themselves who make the time for these calls.
Think about it, folks. California ran out of water. Let that sink in right now.
Going forward. We're working closely with all the utilities. We're also in continuing contact with the transmission operators. The disruption has really been at the distribution level, at the local level, but we want to make sure there's not broader outages and broader concerns. As of now, we're not seeing any issues with stability of the broader transmission system, either in the region or across California or more broadly. So that's a good news part of where we're at now, of course. We're working with the utilities trying to restore power to customers as quickly as we're able, but full restoration, of course, is going to take some time here. In particular, the comprehensive damage assessment will take time and can't begin until it's safe for crews to get in there and actually do the assessments and do the work. So we're working, Madam Vice President, as you said at the outset, with a real sense of urgency here, but also with a sense of we'll do whatever we can over the long haul to do right by our responsibilities.
David, one of the things that everybody's mentioned so far is the mental stress it's going to cause for average Americans that are caught in the middle of all this. And one of the things that, it's not, these aren't everyday, no matter how well educated one is, they're not always certain how power is transmitted, why it's transmitted the way it is, and so on. Could you explain to the folks here, the public is listening, what the impact on some of the utilities have had on the ability to generate the pumping of water? Because there's a lot of accusations going around.
Okay, they're trying to blame the utilities for the lack of water. All right, that's been brought up a couple times now. Let's see what they have to say. Do you believe it's a utility, or they're trying to be, save Newsom?
Transmitted the way it is, and so on. Could you explain to the folks here, the public is listening, what the impact on some of the utilities have had on the ability to generate the pumping of water? Because there's a lot of accusations going around that it's because that the local leadership didn't care. I mean,
Okay, they're trying to save Newsom right here. Who's buying it? Let me know.
explain how this works and why it makes sense what's happening.
So this is an issue, actually, Secretary Granholm was on the phone with the CEO of Southern Cal Edison to talk exactly about this and make sure we were doing everything we can on that front. And it's both the power issue, and you mentioned generators and other ways that we can try to help solve the problem there, but it's also the pressure and making sure that we're thinking of these things holistically. And certainly my experience over the last 4 years under your leadership is it's not one department, it's not one slice of your federal government that is responsible. Energy and water issues overlap in a lot of different ways. So we work with our EPA colleagues and others to make sure that we're bringing all of our expertise and explaining it to our fellow Americans. It's important that we give transparent information and information they can rely upon.
Well, I think it's just people don't know how it functions. And
The guy didn't answer the question, and President Biden's pushing the blame the utility thing. That's what I got out of it, or I'm getting out of it. Could you guys let me know what you think? Am I wrong? So it's not Newsom's fault. It's the utility company that there was no water. Subscribe to Nerd Report if you're not buying that. Subscribe right now.
for example, since I've been president, I've been in an aircraft flying over more territory where there have been wildfires, from Arizona all the way up to Idaho and beyond, and that make up an area larger than the entire state of Maryland, burned to the ground. And one of the problems has been that people don't understand that when these high winds occur, what happens is, or when these storms occur, these utility poles, these whole, those big lines, you see where all the lines are on, they fall to the ground in the middle of the forest. It's not just about raking the leaves under the trees. It's about.
They are trying to divert from blaming. I bet you Newsom's polls numbers are crazy low right now. And I think they're scared to lose California. They're scared of right now. Our poll says 82% think Newsom should resign. 18 say he should stay in there. Don't forget to vote in our poll in the comments. You got us for subscribers.
about the fires that causes. And so utilities have to shut down the ability to continue to transmit on those lines. And the consequence of that, I don't think most people think, no matter how well educated they are, unless they're in the area, that there's a direct correlation between the utility company and the ability to pump water out of a hydrant.
Check out Kamala's face as he's saying this, like, oh yeah, put in the lie. Oh my God. Okay, so let me not fall from here. It's the utility that made the water pressure, or no, it's the utility's fault they ran out of water, and that's common known knowledge. So why doesn't that happen before? And I can't even tell if it's a utility company or a utility pole he's talking about. I can't tell. Could you guys help me in the chat? I'm lost. People will vote for Newsom again though in California. There's no doubt in my mind. He'll win by a landslide.
And so utilities have to shut down the ability to continue to transmit on those lines. And the consequence of that, I don't think most people think, no matter how well educated they are, unless they're in the area, that there's a direct correlation between the utility company and the ability to pump water out of a hydrant. And so it allows for a lot of uninformed people to make assertions or concerns.
We are uninformed. The hell's going on outside?
Or
Hold on, folks. I think the winds are back.
The local officials not caring.
Hold on, folks. I think the winds are back. Hold on. Stay right there. Keep the conversation going. No, it's still stable.
Are not working. So as I understand it, the vast majority of the circumstances where the water resource has been diminished is because of the utility company not being able to maintain the electric transmission because they're getting knocked down or shutting down.
Okay, listen, folks. The utility is to blame. That is a talking point. Do you agree? The utility is going to be a big talking point today. It's a utility. It's not the raking of the leaves or under. The utilities caused the defunding of the fire department. That's probably going to be next.
Accusations about the local officials not caring or not working. So
the local officials are not to blame.
The vast majority of the circumstances where the water resource has been diminished is because of the utility company not being able to maintain.
Utility company is going to be a talking point. Climate change is not working here.
The electric transmission because they're.
That's why it's hard for me to feel sorry for Joe, man. It is, man. It's hard for me to feel bad for him because of this.
Getting knocked down or shutting down so they don't cause more fire.
Only in America, man.
But now what is happening is, are we getting cooperation with utility companies to bring in generators and others to bring in generators to generate the energy?
Look at the guy shaking his head. We're bringing generators to generate energy. Look at the guy. He's like, oh yeah, this guy, I have no idea. I'm lost, but whatever. Utilities is at fault.
Now what is happening is, are we getting cooperation with utility companies to bring in generators and others to bring in generators to generate the energy to allow that fire hydrant to function? Explain that a little bit.
So this is the pragmatic can-do attitude, and folks who've been literally doing these are civil servants and others for their careers, and making sure that we're solutions oriented. We sometimes call our department the solutions department, as Liz knows from having been deputy secretary of the Department of Energy. And so whatever gets the power on to allow the water, whatever gets the job done, a lot of times it's working with our defense colleagues who have terrific assets that can be brought in quite quickly. The other point I'd like to make, Mr. President, to thank you and the Vice President's leadership and our folks in Congress, your bipartisan infrastructure legislation actually provided $10 billion. It's a GRIP program for grid resiliency to improve the resilience of our grids so that when the grids do go down, they come back on quicker. That's $10 billion.
Thank you for fixing the grids that broke and is now allowing the water. What? Who's lost? Raise their hand or press that one button.
Dollars that we've already gotten out the door and is being invested in communities all across the country. We need more of that. We need continued and focus on infrastructure, but infrastructure matters.
It matters a great deal because, for example, one of the things that I knew, but I didn't know that I didn't.
Everyone in that room is lost. Who else is lost? Look at everyone's face. Look at this. Dude, look at this. This is perfect. Kamala Harris is like, oh my God. The translator lady is like, I'm going to quit. Utilities.
Put a number on it. It'd be a lot easier if these electric lines are running underground in contained vessels. So in the middle of forest. So
Donald Trump, whether you like him or not, he's going to eat this press conference alive. There's probably 100 tweets out there.
there's nothing that, I mean, but it costs what, 6 times more?
It can cost 6 times more, and we're doing a lot more undergrounding thanks to your leadership on the infrastructure funding. It's not.
Look at Kamala's face, man. All right, everybody, if you agree with me, hashtag I give up, I just want a beer.
Cost effective everywhere, and
Some places it's necessary.
some places it's absolutely necessary, and we need to have the funding and support to do that.
They don't have the funding in California, man.
I think we're moving in the right direction. I know it, look, this is really, really, really difficult for families to have to deal with it. I mean, you know, I have a family member who lives out there, and the area where he lives, I'm not getting into detail where he lives. I think there's something like 240 or 260 homes. That
Was his name Corn Pop?
burned to the ground, all but 14 or 15 of them. And everybody has to evacuate. And people are going, when do I get back? Will I ever find that picture album? Will I ever find the jewelry that my grandmom gave me? Will I ever, I mean, there's so much anxiety that's generated. And I think that we've been through this once before in Hawaii where the fires occurred and we're trying to build back.
That's the thing. This happened in Hawaii with the $750 or whatever it was given to the families that lost their homes. And Hawaii, what did Hawaii do? They voted for Joe Biden by a landslide, even though there was obvious lack of care for that island. That's what they're going to do in California, folks. A lot of you, I'm telling you right now, a lot of you voting in the poll, 65% in the poll are saying that Newsom should resign. 15 say no. The 15 people that are saying he should not resign are from California. We don't learn, man.
Back up the community so they could open up and things be running, but it's really, really, really hard. So I'm going to make an appeal right now.
You know why they don't vote for the person going up against Newsom? Because they just say the other person's racist, and that's it. That's all. That's how you win.
It's Congress. They're going to have to step up when we ask for more help to get these people the kind of shelter they need, to get the kind of help they need, because it really does matter. And you guys do, I'm not being solicitous, you all do a hell of a job.
I agree with Renee, I can't stop looking at Kamala Harris. Who else can't stop looking at Kamala Harris?
And we've
Her
learned,
book is going to be fire. I don't give a crap. If the book is honest, she's going to make a book. If it's honest, dude, it's going to be insane.
unfortunately, so much. And there is, in case you haven't noticed, there is global warming.
He's blaming global warming. They believe in it so much that they defunded the fire department. It's global warming. Send us $19.99 a month and we'll fix it, folks. So let me tell you, whether or not you believe in global warming or not, these people do. All right. So let's say they're saying it's global warming. What does global warming do? It destabilizes, supposedly, or global climate change. It's supposed to destabilize the weather, cause mass fires, right? Like we have, right? So why didn't they fund the fire department a little more? Because they don't believe in it. That's what it sounds like to me. It's global warming and the utilities.
For more help to get these people the kind of shelter they need, to get the kind of help they need, because it really does matter. And you guys do, I'm not being solicitous, you all do a hell of a job. And we've learned, unfortunately, so much. And there is, in case you haven't noticed, there is global warming. It does change weather patterns. And as
yeah, okay. So why didn't you do something about it? Like keep the people safe. Like fund the fire. We had to, dude. Do you know that Canada is coming in to help California? Because California officials do not take this global warming serious. They claim they do because they want to add that as a tax fund so they could go on vacations to Ghana, I guess. I don't know. So now we have it's utilities and global warming. It's not the fact that there are no firemen around. It's not the fact that there's no water. And I am under the suspicion that we're going to find out that this fire is actually caused artificially, not naturally. But it's global warming.
you explained, Randy, wind's going in and wind's coming out. You get the one going in, but you don't want the one coming back out. And so my point is that I think the more we can explain to the American people in plain, straightforward, honest English or whatever language of us understand.
Well, if you guys wanna do it, if you want to do it so it's English or whatever language we understand, then Mr. President, with all due respect, you need to not be speaking right now. It needs to be anyone else. It could be Kamala Harris. I don't care. But she's way better spoken than you are. You are unable to do this.
What exactly is happening, the more likely we're likely to get the kind of support and not make a political deal out of this. I'm leaving this office very shortly, but it's not about the politics. It's about giving people some sense of security that we're going to be able to get this under control, but it's going to take time. And it's going to take time. And like I said, in the next little bit, we're going to be going back to Congress asking for some more help on some of this stuff. And I hope they're ready to step up because we can afford it. And like I said, we have a little infrastructure bill that's over $1 trillion. It's going to be able to help a little bit. We have done a lot in terms of what we're going to do in terms of providing for this rebuilding of communities. And so I think the most important thing we have to do, those of us sitting around this table and on the screen, is explain in simple, straightforward language what the capacity we have is, how we're using that capacity, and what capacity we don't have that we need. And in order to keep things from just all these in crisis, rumors and fear.
The police
very
department,
quick-
I got to correct you here, Virtual. The police department, no one cares about what? No one cares if the 25 million were transferred to the police department. Correction, I think it was $125 million. We care. We talked about it. We talked about it here.
quickly. And the most important thing is to just bring this down in an area, be honest with people, what's at stake, but be straightforward with them. What can be done and how we're going to get it done. So I thank you all very much. I'm proud of the job you're all doing. And I'm, quite frankly, proud of the job the local officials in California are doing. I've spent a lot of time with the governor and the mayor of Los Angeles and others. You know, they're doing everything that we ask of them and beyond.
Yeah, let's talk about the mayor.
And so we're stepping up as best way we can. Any of my colleagues around the table or on the screen want to add anything before we close this out?
Well, as the Californian at the table,
That we ask of them and beyond. And so we're stepping up as best way we can. Any of my colleagues around the table or on the screen want to add anything before we close this out?
well, as the Californian at the table, thank you for all of the leadership that everyone here has provided, starting with our president. We are beyond the point of calling it fire season.
That's right.
We really, and we're seeing this around the country, that whereas years before we would talk about a particular season of extreme weather, we are seeing that it doesn't matter what month of the year. We should
Then
be
why did your mayor defund the fire department? Why wasn't there water in the reservoirs? It rained like crazy. Why didn't you get rid of the brush? Why didn't you tell the governor, who's your friend, is this real?
of calling it
God.
fire season.
That's right.
We really, and we're seeing this around the country, that whereas years before we would talk about a particular season of extreme weather, we are seeing that it doesn't matter what month of the year. We should be ready. The work that our administration has done in particular on the issue of infrastructure, together with the Inflation Reduction Act and the attention we are paying to the climate crisis, is so important, because we have got to invest as a country in adaptation, and we
got to invest means more taxes. You guys are going to have to pay more for this, and I'm sure my audience is smarter, but we're a small audience. People are going to vote for this, and they're going to mismanage the money again. So I encourage everybody to subscribe to Nerd Report to make your voice and my voice louder. They're blaming climate change because they want to tax you. And then they're going to mismanage the funds again.
invest in resilience.
Who agrees?
And that is about homeowners, that is about families, that is about cities and local governments, state governments. And we have to adapt to this changing climate.
What is the climate change? You know how you adapt? You add more firemen. My eyeball's about to fall out because is this mic on? Who's buying this?
For example, fire hydrants are pretty much built to deal with an individual house fire, not with a wildfire that is taking on entire residential communities.
Is this the first time
where
there's ever
these
been a
homes are
wildfire?
providing the fuel for that fire to grow. We have to put more resources into our fire departments.
Oh my God.
And
Did
fire-
you just bash Karen Bass? We need to put more resources into our fire department. Did she just say that? Is she going to call out Mayor Bass? If she does, respect.
Are pretty much built to deal with an individual house fire, not with a wildfire that is taking on entire residential communities, where these homes are providing the fuel for that fire to grow. We have to put more resources into our fire departments and firefighters, understanding invest in resilience.
Folks, her allies defunded the fire department. Who's buying this?
And that is about homeowners, that is about families, that is about cities and local governments, state governments. And we have to adapt to this changing climate. For example, fire hydrants are pretty much built to deal with an individual house fire, not with a wildfire that is taking on entire residential communities, where these homes are providing the fuel for that fire to grow. We have to put more resources into our fire departments and firefighters, understanding that we are asking a lot of them that traditionally they never had to do.
All the money.
And because of their commitment to their profession, they're attempting to rise to the moment of crisis. But we need to put more resources into those individual professionals and into the departments that sustain that work with the mission. That is such an important
Pretend you didn't cause that problem.
mission in times like this. So, Mr. President, I thank you for your leadership, your foresight to understand what over these last 4 years we could do to leapfrog in front of what we know to be a changing climate to meet these types of moments.
Again, they're blaming the climate, but when they find out some of this is man-made, is it going to be the climate? A lot of you in California are going to buy it too.
And God bless all of the people who are on the ground right now in California doing that.
Okay, so to the fire folks, we've been corrected. It's the utilities and climate change.
Work.
I thank you for your comments. I think I totally agree with you. It will not surprise anybody. Look, there's an expression from a famous Irish poet. He said,
Here he
"All
goes. Look
change-
at look at
change
Kamala Harris's.
Totally agree with you.
Look when he says, look, there's an expression from an Irish poet. Look at her face. Look at it. Look at her face right here. This is crazy.
Not surprise anybody. Look, there's an expression from a famous Irish poet. He said, all
She plays with her hair.
changed utterly. A terrible beauty has been born. All has changed in the weather. Climate change is real, fundamentally altering, not just here, but around the world. Around the world, what's going on. And we've got to adjust to it. We got to adjust to it.
Defund the fire department. That's your adjustment, dude.
We can. It's
You
within our
don't need
power to
it.
do it. We got to acknowledge it to begin with. Just acknowledge that there's a change taking place, that we're not going to be able to legislate away. It's real. There is global warming.
Why do they jump to that? Because now there's people going, oh, global warming, blah, 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 blah. And the next step is gonna be there's global warming, send us $19.99 a month, and we will fix it for you. And then you're gonna find out that when the next thing happens, God forbid, hopefully nothing happens, they're gonna say there is global warming. Send us $39.99, and they're gonna find out that they didn't do any of the shit they were supposed to do with that $19.99 they originally got from you. And I know, look, there's not that many people here that will make a difference watching, but that's the thing, man. I'm telling you right now, they are gonna try to line their pockets with that because people want.
It's real. It's having a profound impact. And where it goes from here, I don't know, but I know one thing. We have the capacity to respond to it if we, in fact, exercise our good judgment. So thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Do you trust that California will get the aid they need in the next administration?
I'm not in a position to answer that question. I pray God they will.
Do you have a
Mr. President, do you have a sense of how much this is going to cost in the end?
No, the truth of the matter is no one can tell you that. For example, just clearing the debris. You saw what happened when we were dealing with the hurricanes that occurred from North Carolina to Florida. The cost of the debris cleanup is gigantic, gigantic. The cost of replacing the housing is almost exponential. I mean, we don't know what it is, but we know one thing we have to do. We have to stay with it. We have the capacity to do it, but we don't know that. Anybody gives you a number now, they have no idea what the hell they're talking about. It's a big, big, big number.
Mr. President, let's go, guys.
Ask about Karen Bass.
Mr. President, can you update us, please, on the Hamas hostages and what you think of the incoming administration's efforts and ultimatum?
I can, but I'm not sure it's appropriate for now. We're making some real progress. I met with negotiators today. I think there's what's going on right now in Lebanon, and we finally have a president. He's a first-rate guy. I spent time on the phone with him today, about 20 minutes to half an hour, what they have planned. They're also working very hard with the Lebanese military, accountable to the Lebanese people, not Hamas, not Hezbollah,
I don't
not any
deal
other.
with this. All right, so it ended.
We need to get it done. Thank you all very much.
Karen, okay, so look, man, I am so frustrated. Are you with me, folks? I am so frustrated with the fact that they sit there and just blame global warming for it. And it's like, if you really believe that it's global warming, why do you ally yourself with somebody that defunded the fire department? I mean, I know I'm repeating myself, but am I wrong? Now they're going to ask you for more money. California wildfires devastate Los Angeles County. 5 people are gone. Super sad. Look, considering the fact that these fires are so huge, I'm surprised it's that low. We're going to get to Kamala Harris's speech in a bit. Is this it? We're going to be live with it, okay? Not Kamala Harris, Bass. So subscribe here, folks. I see a lot of new subscribers today. Let's get to 100,000 subscribers right now. We could do it. Biden says federal government will pay for disaster response to Los Angeles fires from 180 days. I don't know what that means. Probably we're going to get like aid, or some people are going to get aid. National Guard's in the mix. Kenneth fires prompts mandatory evacuations. Oh, woman confronts Newsom over fire. Let's see what's this about.
Taxes.
Could you guys hear that?
Waiting. And wondering.
Could you guys hear that or no? Let me know in the comments. Yeah, you guys can hear it? Hold on, I'm going to bring it back in. One second.
Of California, Gavin Newsom, who's come under increasing scrutiny over what's happening there.
See, those reports have forced the president to speak and blame global warming and utilities.
He's been confronted by an angry LA resident. We can take a listen to that.
Oh, shit. You guys hear this?
Governor, you got a second? Governor, I live here, Governor.
He doesn't have a second for her. You have a second? The answer is no.
Governor, that was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call?
I
Because
can't.
I
It
don't
doesn't-
believe it.
Wow.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the
Why is
call,
the president not taking your call?
because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get cell service.
So let's
There's no
get
cell
it.
service.
Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it.
Wow.
I'm doing that right now. And it's to immediately get reimbursements, individual assistance, and to help you. I'm devastated for you. I'm so sorry, especially for your daughter. I have 4 kids losing to school.
Everyone who went to school there, they lost their homes. They lost 2 homes because they were living in one and building another. Governor, please tell me, what are you going to do with the president right now?
We're getting the resources to help rebuild. We're getting
Why
the
was there no
resources to do
water
it.
in the hydrants,
That's all
Governor?
That's all literally.
Is it going to be different next time?
It has to be. Has to be. Of course.
What are you going to do?
I'm doing
To fill
everything
the
I can.
hydrants. I would fill them up personally, you know that.
Wow.
I
This is
would fill up the
heartbreaking.
hydrants myself. But would you do that?
I would do whatever I can.
But you're not. I see do you know there's water dripping over there?
God,
Governor?
this is amazing.
There's water coming out there. You can use it.
I appreciate it. I'm going to make the call to address everything I can right now, including making sure people
I'd
are
like
safe.
to make sure you do. Can I have an opportunity to at least tell people you're doing what you're saying you're
Yeah,
doing?
yeah.
Could somebody have
I
a
don't care.
contact?
This
Can
is
I have
the
your
strong
contact
fucking
information?
female. This is not the shit they gave us to run. This is the shit. This is the shit. This is amazing, folks. Wow. I'm shocked how awesome this lady is. I'm going to replay it. You want me to replay it? This is wow level to 1,000. This is a slick millionaire politician bullshitter getting schooled. This is, I'm going to play it right now again, folks.
In LA, Sky News has seen the governor of California, Gavin.
This is the second time Sky News kicks ass. Wow. Watch this.
Newsom, who's come under increasing scrutiny over what's happening there, he's been confronted by an angry LA resident. We can take a listen to their exchange.
Governor, you got a second? Governor.
They said, do you have a second? And they said no to a taxpayer woman that lost a lot during the fire. Let that sink in. The people that said that he should have resigned, all you that voted for him.
I live here, Governor. That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because
Yeah,
I don't
drop
believe
him.
it.
Call
I'm
him on his
sorry.
bluff.
There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the
Why is
call,
the president not taking your call?
You know he's pissed.
because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get some
Dude, take off your glasses too, man. You're not a movie star. Take off your glasses. Look at her without the glasses, dude.
service.
So let's
There's no
get
cell
it.
service.
Let's get it.
In LA, Sky News has seen the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, who's come under increasing scrutiny over what's happening there. He's been confronted by an angry LA resident. We can take a listen to their exchange.
Governor, you got a second? Governor, I live here, Governor. That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I
can't. It
don't
doesn't-
believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the
Why is
call,
the president not taking your call?
because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get cell service.
So
There's
let's
no
get
cell
it.
service.
Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now. And it's to immediately get reimbursements, individual assistance, and to help you. I'm devastated for you. I'm so sorry, especially for your daughter. I have 4 kids losing to school.
It's not about you, dude.
Who went to school there, they lost their homes. They lost 2 homes because they were living in one and building another. Governor, please tell me, what are you going to do with the president right now?
getting the resources to help rebuild. We're getting
Why
the
was there no
resources to do it.
water in the hydrants, Governor?
That's all literally.
Is it going to be different next time?
This is why Biden had that speech blaming the utilities because of this right here that just happened. I'll bet.
It has to be. Has to be. Of course.
What are you going to do?
I'm doing
To
everything
fill the
I can.
hydrants. I would fill them up personally. You know that.
I literally.
I would fill up the hydrants myself.
I understand.
But would you do that?
I would do whatever I can.
But you're not. I
This
see
is
the.
heartbreaking.
You know, there's water dripping over there, Governor. There's water coming out there. You can use it.
I appreciate it. I'm going to make the call to address
He's ignoring
everything I can right now, including making sure people
I'd
are
like
safe.
to make sure you do. Can I have an opportunity to at least tell people you're doing what you're saying you're doing? Could somebody have a contact? Can I have your contact information?
Right there.
That was heartbreaking, man. That was heartbreaking. I'd rather not even have seen that. Observatories in danger, man. That's California Wildfire Threat Observatory. Insane. That was one. Every day there's something new, crazy, man. Every day there's something new, crazy.
Gene Harris, G-E-N-E-H-A-R-R.
Let's get to this real quick.
As you've heard mentioned up here, and I won't beat the dead horse, looting is a very significant issue for us in law enforcement.
Let's see what Karen Bass has to say. I think this is new. Can you all hear this?
Yep. Good morning.
All right, thank you and good morning. Welcome to today's One Voice press conference for the wildfires and the windstorms that are impacting LA County. We welcome you. Run of show for today. We have speakers. There's a speakers list. Please help yourselves to one of those. After that, we will segue to question and answer with members of the press. Allow me to introduce to you our first speaker, Los Angeles County Chair of the Board of Supervisors, Catherine Barger.
Thank you, Helen. Thank you for joining us here today. Earlier this week, the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors declared today, January 9th, a day of mourning in solidarity with the federal government's in honor of the passing of former President James Earl Carter. Ironically, today is turned into a day of mourning for more reasons than the one as we mourn the loss of lives and property across our county. While we are still facing significant threats, I am hopeful that the tide is turning. Thank you, Chief Maroney. Thank you, Chief Crowley. Yesterday afternoon, as the winds died down, we saw the return of aerial drops and aerial firefighting, a truly, truly welcome sight. First and foremost, I want to assure our residents in Los Angeles County that the city of LA and the county are working hard and working hand in hand to bring every resource available to the table. Last night, the county opened the Pomona Fairplex as an additional shelter for those evacuating and those who have suffered losses. The Fairplex will also continue to take in large animals that are in need of a home. The county is working to harness and utilize the incredible outpouring of generosity from individuals, nonprofits, and companies that want to help. We have heard that many companies like Airbnb, Uber, and Lyft are offering free or subsidized services for those impacted by the fires in Los Angeles County. The county will be sharing all of these resources through our recovery.lacounty.gov website. In addition, the state has activated CAL FIRE Management Team 3 and assigned them to the Eaton Canyon incident. They will be joining Federal Management Team 5 in their ongoing efforts, we hope as early as tomorrow. CAL FIRE Team 3 will be tasked with overseeing victim search operations and damage inspections to facilitate debris removal operations and setting up disaster recovery assistance centers. This will allow Federal Management Team 5 to focus on firefighting operations and the active front. As Supervisor Horvath mentioned yesterday, wildfires do not care about jurisdictional boundaries. Between the city and the county, we are managing the various resources that are coming online with the increasing demands on our first responders. I saw this firsthand driving through the streets of Altadena yesterday. Driving up Lake Avenue, the devastation could not be missed. The number of homes.
A virtual tourist. You think I care more about the taxes I have to pay than the actual people? Do you work for the government or something? I'm just trying to wake people up that people spend hours of their lives trying to fund safety, and it's not given to them. They work 6, 7 jobs a day, different jobs. Yeah, I do care about my tax money. Because it's not going to save the people. It's all linked, dude. It's not your tax money that you spend hours working for that's meant to be invested into protecting people is not going to it. Now, I feel that maybe you work for the government directly and you benefit from taxpayers' money that doesn't go to what it's supposed to go to: education, fire department, policing. Is that the case with you? It's all connected, dude. It's all connected.
Businesses and buildings that were on the fire dwarfed in any sense of available resources. Altadena.
I appreciate your opinion, but you're saying that I think this way. I don't. Ask me. I'll tell you. I do care about the people. I care about the people getting ripped off too. That's part of it. I care about the people working several jobs and to ensure that they are protected, and they're not protected. That is caring about the people. That's what I'm saying. And I'm warning everyone that the reason you're using the word global warming is to take accountability away from the governor and also tax you more. And I'm going to keep saying it over and over and over more. Again, sorry. I'm going to say it over and over again.
Unique and special part of the 5th District. It is a community that embodies the spirit of a big, small town. A community full of rich culture, history.
I'm going to forward it because I don't give a crap.
Okay, so
it seems like it's just repeating the same shit she said the other time. Let's get to Mayor Bass.
Mayor Bass, I'd like to introduce LA City Mayor Bass.
Thank you, Supervisor. One voice, that is the way we speak, and that is the way we stand here united. Los Angeles will stand united and stand strong. So first of all,
yeah, united to get you out of office.
My thoughts are with the thousands of Angelenos who are impacted by this emergency, as more Angelenos were forced to make the terrifying decision to evacuate. Our priorities, of course, are to keep Angelenos safe and to protect homes. The winds continue to be of a historic nature and a key factor of this firestorm. For much of Tuesday, the unprecedented winds prevented air operations to continue. However, as of yesterday, The winds have allowed for air operations, and that has enabled significant progress against the fires in Hollywood and Studio City last night. And as of 7:30 this morning, evacuation orders in Hollywood have been lifted. Angelenos cooperated. The community stood together. They evacuated, and Angelenos should continue to proceed with caution. Air operations are continuing rapidly in the Palisades, in Sylmar, and across our region. We continue to see our heroes from our LA firefighters and from personnel, families, neighbors from across the county and the state. We thank you. However, we continue to confront a big one-level firestorm. Historic winds and extensive drought have created a perfect storm that has driven people from their homes and have taken people's homes, and that has taken people's lives. I've been in the fire zones, and you can see how fast and devastating these wind-driven fires are. I know people from all over the nation are asking how they can help. So here are two essential ways. First of all, support the California Community Foundation Wildlife Recovery Fund at calfund.org, and support the Los Angeles Fire Department Foundation.
Did she just say that? Support the Fire Department Foundation? Is this ironic? What's going on?
And you can see how fast and devastating these wind-driven fires are. I know people from all over the nation are asking how they can help. So here are two essential ways. First of all, support the California Community Foundation Wildlife Recovery Fund at calfund.org, and support the Los Angeles Fire Department Foundation at support LA.
We already did. We paid through our ass with taxes. And you didn't fund the fire department, though. Now we got to pay them again. We can't. We don't have the budget. She needs to support. That's right. She's telling us to support the fire department, and she doesn't do it. I may have to get off in a bit because my mental health is going to crash, man. I'm going to be sent to Arkham Asylum at this point.
FD.org. And in addition to shelters, Airbnb is offering free temporary housing. Go to 211LA.org for more information. This, as we know, is a regional crisis. So working together is the only way we will get through this. That's why I've been in constant contact with my colleagues at the county, state, and federal level. President Biden, Governor Newsom have assured us of full state and federal support. And of course, County Chair Barger and I are fully coordinated, as I am with all of the local elected officials. And our fire departments, police departments, utilities, and other critical agencies are coordinated as well. We have pre-deployed, we are executing a strategy, and we are adapting to conditions on the ground in real time. This is absolutely an unprecedented historic firestorm, but we are all hands on deck. We need to continue to cooperate. We need to evacuate when asked to do so. We need to help others, help our neighbors. And first and foremost, we need to stay united. We need to stay strong. A united LA is the way we will recover, is the way we rebuild our communities. And with that, I believe I am introducing Supervisor Lindsay Orbat.
What do you think so far, folks? Has she convinced you that she's going to fix things?
Good morning. The strength and resilience of Los Angeles County is more than anything we are seeing on the ground. I know this.
All right, let's put the governor back. I mean, the mayor. These
Mayor,
people are just,
LA County
they're
is
literally congratulating each other for things, man.
in a panic state. It began 2 days ago with
Here
the
we go.
Palisades
Question.
fire. My crew and
We recognized President Biden and Governor Newsom, but we also have here with us today Congressmember George Whitesides, Congressmember Laura Friedman, Senator Sasha Renee Perez, Assemblymember Celeste Rodriguez, and Malibu Mayor Doug Stewart. Make no mistake, we are all working together, and I want to thank you all for being here. I know our Congress representatives flew in, and we appreciate it, and we are all in this together. With that, we'll take some questions.
Thank
Okay, they're gonna take questions for Bass. Jackie, thanks for that super chat. Folks, if you want to support the channel, you could send in a super chat, super sticker, and stuff, and so it could get me coffee and keep me going because I am exhausted. I really appreciate every dollar counts. Here, Jackie is sending a very generous super chat. Hey, Lewis, it's late here now in the UK. I need to go to bed. Thanks for the great stream, and prayers go with you and the family over there, your family in California. Thank you so much for that. Jackie, hearts for you in the comments, please. Hearts for Jackie in the comments. UK representing.
Chair Barger, so just a couple rules of the road. So I'll call on you when you get called upon. Please announce your name and which media outlet you are with. And we'll start right here in the middle.
Jonathan Pigliotti with CBS News. For Mayor Bass, please. Mayor, LA County is in a panic state. It began 2 days ago with the Palisades fire. My crew and I arrived shortly after it started. And for several hours, we watched as hundreds of homes in a neighborhood burned to the ground. We did not see a single fire engine.
Yep.
We watched as Good Samaritans guided traffic.
Yep.
There was fear and there.
This is so sad, man. That guy's question. Good Samaritans. Civilians had to guide the traffic, putting themselves in danger with cars because civilians aren't trained. There's a skill to direct traffic. There's a skill to that. We got regular people doing it. They could have been ended. What? The police, where were they?
Crew and I arrived shortly after it started, and for several hours we watched as hundreds of homes in a neighborhood burned to the ground. We did not see a single fire engine. We watched as Good Samaritans guided traffic. There was fear and there was a lot of confusion. You were out of the country at the time. Shortly after the fire started, a press release was put out warning of this fire behavior. My question to you is, what explains this lack of preparation
They left because there
and
was no water
rapid
in the
response?
Let me just say, first and foremost, my number one focus, and I think the focus of all of us here with one voice, is that we have to protect lives, we have to save lives, and we have to save homes. Rest assured that when
that did not happen.
assured, let me
Good. These reporters are doing what they have to do. They want one voice and unity now because they're trying to get, because look, who's against unity? Who's against unity? So that's the slogan here, right? They don't want to be questioned. And if you question them, they want to say somehow this reporter's anti-unity. Don't fall for it, folks.
number one focus, and I think the focus of all of us here with one voice, is that we have to protect lives, we have to save lives, and we have to save homes. Rest assured that when rest assured, let me finish. Rest assured, when that is done, when we are safe, when lives have been saved and homes have been saved, we will absolutely do an evaluation to look at what worked, what didn't work, and to correct or to hold accountable any body, department, individual, etc. But my focus right now is on the lives and on the homes.
Do you think your leadership was effective while responding to this disaster?
I just said what I believe is the most important thing for us to do right now, and that is going to continue to be my focus. Thank you.
Don't stop calling them out, folks. Don't stop calling them out. Unity among the residents is absolutely, don't mess with the residents, but question these people. question them. Let's play that again. That was lovely. Mad Scientist with the super. Thanks so much, Mad Scientist. I love seeing you here. Appreciate all your coverage of this. Thank you, Mad Scientist. Cheers. It's been a while since I've seen you here. I'm glad you've returned. I don't know if I missed you in the chat. I'm seeing a lot of people that were here before come on in and everything. I am on, this is probably the 5th hour I'm streaming right now. So I appreciate all your donations and stuff. You could also PayPal, Cash App, and stuff if you want to support the channel. But the number one thing I need, oh wait, what's going on? Oh boy. Emergency alert. Extreme. This is new. This is an emergency message from the Los Angeles County Fire Department. An emergency evacuation warning has been issued in your area. That's here where I'm at. Remain vigilant of any threats and be ready to evacuate. Gather loved ones, pets, and supplies. Continue to monitor local weather, news, and the website alerts.org for more information. This is on my phone. This is on my phone. Once again, I just got this on my phone, folks. This is an emergency message from the Los Angeles County Fire Department. I've never had one of these. An evacuation warning has been issued in your area. Remain vigilant of any threats and be ready to evacuate. Gather loved ones, pets, and supplies. Continue to monitor the local weather, news, and websites. My mom just notified me that she got the alert. Everybody here is on alert. Thanks for the prayers. Thanks for the thoughts. The shit's hit the fan. Folks, if for some reason I am removed from YouTube because they do that, we are on Rumble. Head over, Nerd Report on Rumble. We'll broadcast there. We also have a Patreon. The link will be shared by our mods because they may silence this channel because I'm speaking facts. Rumble, search for Nerd Report. Twitter, The Nerd Report. We've been, I just got this warning. And honestly, like, I need you guys. I need you guys and girls right now. And I don't trust this platform with leaving me on here. I don't trust the platform. I'm following all the rules. I think I'm actually tame. Do you want me to step outside and look and see how it looks outside? Mods, please share the Rumble. I think Bernadette Lonefire is sharing it. Share the Rumble only. Fuck, man. If you want to help financially, I know some of you do. You don't have to. Please use PayPal, preferably, or Cash App. You could also send in a super chat here, but Cash App is better. We get it instantly. If I have to get a hotel, if you can't do it, you don't have to. Don't worry about it. Here's the Rumble in the comments. I'm going outside to look at how it looks outside the studio. Give me 1 second. Keep the conversation going in the comments. All right. The wind is blowing. Not as bad. The air quality is awful, but it's not dark. It's just awful air quality. But if I'm getting this alert, then that is there's a reason for caution. Haha, Jackie, I could only be here, man. I could only be here. But Jackie, thanks for the super chat. Lewis, please go. Have to take my dog out and then go to bed. Don't be here when I come back. Love and prayers for all. Let me tell you, if I'm here, I feel like I'm safer with you guys. There is I can't go right now, folks. This is the safest place. Let me explain to you real quick. Okay, if you just got here, this is actually the safest place I can be in. We have a roof. We have water hose, food. Outside's a disaster. There's plants there's trees everywhere. And I know the concern is because the alert we just got. Shelly, thank you so much for that donation. Shelly, thank you for that donation via PayPal. Did the alert go away? The alert was sent, not saying you have to evacuate, but just that you may. The winds are going to come back. I'm starting to feel nauseous just because the air quality is bad.
In a panic state. It began 2 days ago with the Palisades fire. My crew and I arrived shortly after it started. And for several hours, we watched as hundreds of homes in a neighborhood burned to the ground. We did not see a single fire engine. We watched as Good Samaritans guided traffic. There was fear and there was a lot of confusion. You were out of the country at the time. Shortly after the fire started, a press release was put out warning of this fire behavior. My question to you is, what explains this lack of preparation and rapid response?
Let me just say, first and foremost, my number one
You guys hear
focus, and
this?
I think the focus of all of us here with one voice, is that we have to protect lives, we have to save lives, and we have to save homes. Rest assured that when
that did not
rest
happen.
assured, let me finish. Rest assured, when that is done, when we are safe, when lives have been saved and homes have been saved, we will absolutely do an evaluation to look at what worked, what didn't work, and to correct or to hold accountable any body, department, individual, etc. But my focus right now is on the lives and on the homes.
Do you think your leadership was effective while responding to this disaster?
I just said what I believe is the most important thing for us to do right now, and that is going to continue to be my focus. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, breaking news. Cell phones are, this is via KTLA. Folks, I'm not a news anchor, but I think I'm doing all right. I'm by myself. I don't have interns, but subscribe, man. I think I'm doing all right for being an independent content creator, man. I literally don't have a staff, really. I mean, just a few people help me here and there, but this is like the 5th hour. So please subscribe. This is via KTLA, and I promise I'm going to improve the broadcasting as we go forward. This is via KTLA. Cell phones across Los Angeles have just received the emergency alert for an evacuation warning. This is likely related to the Kenneth fire in Calabasas, West Hill area, and does not impact the entire city. Okay. Okay. It's likely that. Consider subscribing.
Thank you. Let's go to the middle with the laptop.
Before we go on, I want to introduce, because this is an important announcement we made, the U.S. Forest Service Fire Chief Robert Garcia has an announcement regarding a decision being made on the National Forest.
Thank you, Supervisor, and I'll be brief. I just wanted to share that in the overnight hours last night, the U.S. Forest Service, in an effort to reduce calls for service and reduce potential risk for wildfire, we've made a decision until further notice that the Angeles National Forest is closed. And so we'll get some additional information out, press release, that kind of information on the details of that closure, but it's similar to the types of orders that the county and the city have instituted regarding curfews and access and that type of thing. So the Angeles National Forest will be closed till further notice, likely till we get through this current fire weather event.
Thank you for that. We'll go in the middle. Name and media outlet, please.
Hi, Thomas Fuller from the New York Times. For Chief Luna, I just wanted to follow up on what you said about you weren't satisfied with the information that you were getting on fatalities. It's been widely reported that there were 5 deaths, at least 5 deaths. Do you believe that death toll is not accurate, and do you think it's less than that?
Based on all the information that I've received in the last probably 8 hours, I want to be more confident in the specific information that I'm getting. So what we're doing now is going back through everything because you got to understand the urgency, the chaotic nature of what we're dealing with, and we're still in the middle of that. So I want to make sure that as we go forward, at least for the sheriff's department, we're actually having our homicide unit involved because they don't only do murder investigations, they do death investigations, that I'm going to change the system and verify each number. Because I don't care if it's just one, that's somebody's family. That's somebody we love and care for. So I want to make sure that's solid before we start presenting that information. Unfortunately, based on the preliminary information I've seen, at least in the two large fires that we're dealing with on each side of the county, unfortunately, I think the death toll will rise. I hope I'm wrong, but I think it's going to rise.
That's sad.
Thank you for that. Let's go right.
Real quick here, folks. I want to thank Saricia for the very generous Cash App. This will go into the studio, or if we need to evacuate somehow. We did get the alert. Hopefully, we don't have to spend it for that and everything. But thank you so much. And I think I have more here. I know Jennifer Marie has stepped up a lot and stuff. So I really appreciate you guys. Again, we received an evacuation alert here. I showed the text on the phone. Nicola Barr, thank you so much for that very generous donation. Again, we received it. If we do, I don't want to use this for getting out and having to pay for a hotel. In other words, I don't want to use it for evacuation. I hope it doesn't have to get to that. I don't even know. I'm lost for words. I just don't want to. I hope it doesn't happen, but we did get the evacuation notice right now live. So I don't even know, man. But you guys are stepping up. I'm not going to. If we don't need to use it for evacuation, we'll reinvest into the studio. That's all I'm saying. Okay. It seems like the evacuation notice is for places that are far away from me, but I just don't know at this point. Are Airbnbs free? I guess they did say there is. I've never used one. My mom can't walk right now, so that's fucked. She, if you're following the channel, my mom had a bad fall and she had a surgery, ankle surgery. I've been helping her come back from that. I can tell you the air quality is really, really bad right now. As far as getting ahead of it, I do know what you're talking about. I'm going to brainstorm, but this is the safest place I could be in, folks. There, thank you, Shelly, this is the safest place I could be in. I'm under the roof. Where I'm at, there's not a lot of vegetation. So like, it's not like I'm near a lot of a forest or something that can catch fire. You know, if I get out in the car right now, there's probably worse. Things could be worse.
Right over here in the front.
Yeah, Josh Haskell, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. Mayor Bass, I've been on the fire lines the last 2 days. I've never seen firefighters this desperate. At fire hydrants, water not coming out, the pressure so low, the number one tool that they use to fight these fires, not there. How frustrated are you about that? And also, I'm getting texts right now from the Palisades Highlands community. We're almost 48 hours after this fire started. There's not resources up there. The hydrants aren't working. Where's the National Guard? Where are miles and miles of water tenders? How are we addressing this?
Well, listen to that question, man. This is the United States of America. Listen to that question.
This desperate. At fire hydrants, water not coming out, the pressure so low, the number one tool that they use to fight these fires, not there. How frustrated are you about that? And also, I'm getting texts right now from the Palisades Highlands community. We're almost 48 hours after this fire started. There's not resources up there. The hydrants aren't working. Where's the National Guard? Where are miles and miles of water tenders? How are we addressing this? Your reaction.
First of all, you asked me, was I frustrated by this? Of course, because we all know that this has been an unprecedented event. We also know that fire hydrants are not constructed to deal with this type of massive devastation, and that the number one problem, especially on Wednesday, was the fact that we weren't able to do the air support because of the winds.
It's the first time we have winds, Mayor.
And so, of course, I am absolutely frustrated by that. I am not sure that is correct, that there are no resources up there, but rest assured, as soon as we are done here, I will follow up on that.
But those homes, the first day and a half, there were homes up there that had been protected by the fire. And then I went up there yesterday and there were
that had been protected?
That it basically had been saved. Obviously, the fire's moving different directions, but when I went up there yesterday, there were not a lot of resources. We drove around, and then I know that things got worse up there. I'm just wondering, now that we move 48 hours past, how are we addressing these water problems that are continuing? And is it acceptable that they continue?
Well, let me just say that the water problems are a little better now because the winds are such that we can go up and have the air support. And you know that that was the reason that the devastation was so bad, the unprecedented wind, the strength of the wind, and the fact that the air support could not go up.
And if Chief Crowley wants to talk to this, there have been many fires before where air support is not available. And we depend upon these ground resources and crews.
Bullshit.
Was there a plan in place for that? And did the resources get here quickly enough? Because, and talk about an update to air support today.
Right. So thank you for that question. As we know, and you heard all of the incidents that are occurring at this point. Palisades was the first brush fire that we were attacking at that moment. You talk about specific pre-deploying. We put resources in place, pre-deploying, knowing that the winds were coming. With that, when the fire did light and take off, rapid response, very dynamic situation, air to ground resources coordinating. Now with the winds, I don't think we can overstate that enough. There's no excuse in regard to the winds were too much, but the reality is the winds are so dynamic. And at that tipping point, when our resources,
check out the incompetence. This is breaking news right now. Breaking news on Nerd Report. Subscribe to Nerd Report. This is real, man. Look at this. Could you even see it? I just got this alert now. The incompetence in LA is insane. Are you guys ready for this? Subscribe if you're ready for this. Or maybe I misread it. Let me set it up. A little while ago, we just got an evacuation order, or to be alert on it. Check this out. Disregard the last evacuation warning. It was for Kenneth. It was for the Kenneth fire only. What kind of shit is that? What kind? I appreciate everybody who was afraid. For me, I was shitting it. Because I looked outside, it's kind of clear. Bro, ladies and gentlemen, after receiving an alert that we could get evacuated, that we should be alert about getting evacuated because of the fires, we get another one. Disregard last evacuation warning. It was for the Kenneth fire only. This is the incompetence in California. How the F did you guys vote these people in? My God. They can't even get it right. There's probably people, you gave a fucking old lady a heart attack, you morons. Retro America, thank you. Lewis, please be careful. Stay safe with your family. Thank you so much for that. Known as St. Bernard's. Lewis, stay safe. We need you. Thank you so much. I need you guys and gals. I am a kind of young dude. I fucking almost had a heart attack right now. And then they brought it. What is going on? Is that incompetence? Press 1. They're not ready for any of this. They didn't prep for this at all. They send me they send a warning. You can't make this shit up. They send the warning about be vigilant for an evacuation, and then they send another alert 5 minutes later or whatever saying it was only for another fire. Press 1 if that's the most ridiculous thing you ever heard. Now, okay, so guess what? Guess what, folks? You want to hear this one? You want to hear a sad part? Now there's gonna be an emergency. They're gonna send the emergency warning, and people are gonna think it's bullshit. They're gonna send another emergency warning. People are gonna think it's bullshit.
resources were grounded, that changes our strategies and tactics. We called for the world in regard to the number of resources and what we needed, who we needed, immediate need. Every single resource that was available at that moment responded. You talked about 48 hours later, where are we now, right? Again, I already spoke on if we don't have water, we find water, we use water tenders, we draft water. The fire department, first responders, we're going to do everything in our absolute effort to do what we can do with what we've got. The good news is with the wind subsiding, you're going to see water drops, you're going to see rotary, you're going to see fixed wings all day. unless something changes. Again, I did say 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts even today. So very, very dynamic situation. With that, also, you said about the other homes, no fire resources there. As winds change, our resources change, we redistribute, we move, and that's the dynamic situation that we are in, even in day 3. That's what I wanted to say about that.
We'll
Thank
go
you.
right behind. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Madam Mayor, I have another question for you. Bob DeCastro over here from Good Day
The
LA.
mayor is getting-
Fox 11. Another issue, another concern about resources and in particular staffing as well. And we heard from firefighters even on the front lines expressing frustrations about, obviously it's a challenge right now. They're bringing in firefighters from all across the Western region. But can you address the criticism now over the budget issue and the slashing, $17 million?
I think if you go
Let
back
him ask
and
the
look
question.
at the reduction.
Let him finish the question, ma'am.
Criticism now over the budget issue and the slashing, $17 million.
I think if you go back and look at the reductions that were made, there were no reductions that were made that would have impacted the situation that we were dealing with over the last couple of days. And then there was a little bit of confusion because money was allocated to be distributed later on, which was actually going to support salaries and other parts of the fire department that were distributed a little later. So I think it's most important to understand that we were in tough budgetary times. Everybody knew that, but that the impact of our budget really did not impact what we've been going through over the last few days. Again, back to the unprecedented windstorm,
global warming,
such ferocity that we haven't seen in years, is the context in which we were dealing.
You know where the wind, like there's actually more wind coming out of your mouth.
Times, everybody knew that, but that the impact.
The criticism, Jennifer, like 100%. Hit that one button if you think she's mad at the criticism. I do.
Of our budget really did not impact what we've been going through over the last few days. Again, back to the unprecedented windstorm, when at such ferocity that we haven't seen in years, is the context in which we were dealing with it. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go over here on this side. Did you have your hand up with the blue? Name and media outlet, please.
Hi, Grace Tui with the Los Angeles Times. I was hoping Chief Crowley could talk a little bit more about the start of the Palisades fire. We'd heard that, I know we don't know why it started, but we'd heard that it started possibly in a garden in someone's backyard. If you could confirm.
Okay, we keep hearing this, and I didn't want to. I was on Popcorn Planet earlier. Who was on Popcorn Planet? Let me know. And I knew this. I didn't want to say it because, again, I don't like to. This may be a conspiracy theory, but it's been repeated so many times that I think this is the fact. That the fire may have started from someone's backyard. That would probably mean, I'm just guessing, that it may have been a barbecue or something like that. If the fire started in someone's backyard, it's probably not global warming. It's probably someone being negligent in their own home. Do you see that, folks? Again, if I'm full of shit, let me know in the comments.
Hi, Grace Tui with the Los Angeles Times. I was hoping Chief Crowley could talk a little bit more about the start of the Palisades fire. We'd heard that, I know we don't know why it started, but we'd heard that it started possibly in a garden in someone's backyard, if you could confirm that. And then how long do we know it took for it to actually reach homes? And I know you said that resources were pre-deployed, but do we know were there actually fire crews in the Palisades when it did start?
Right. So I'll start with your second question and we'll go back. I'll just start with your first one. As for where the start of the fire was in the Palisades fire, again, currently under active investigation. We have our arson investigators that are out right now as we speak. and they are actively investigating. As soon as we have information, we will share that with all of you. I know there's obviously, for the right reasons, a lot of interest in that. So with that, we'll circle back. When we come to pre-deployment, yes, we had our local fire stations that are assigned, Fire Station 69, Fire Station 23 in the Palisades area. They were fully staffed. Also pre-deployment in those areas, and we can also share the exact locations of where they were, how much we bolstered in regard to resources in the Palisades area. And also, mind you, we pre-deploy in the very high fire hazard severity zones, knowing that those are the communities most at risk during a wind event. So not only did we pre-deploy in the Palisades area, but also in other critical areas within the city. I don't know exactly, but we certainly can get that to you. Thank you.
Hi, Dakota Smith with the LA Times. I have a two-part question again for the two fire chiefs. First off, have drones, unauthorized
Holy shit, dude. Let me see if this. Okay, she's gonna talk again. Okay, check this out. Breaking news. Breaking news, folks. Are you all ready for the breaking news? Let's get some more subscribers right now. There's 700 people watching and 30% of you are subscribed. Double check that you're a subscriber now. Hit that button on the top. It says subscribe. I have breaking news. I'm going to read this. All right. Who's been with us this entire stream? You know, I got the alert for the evacuation. Here's the breaking news. Check this out. Via KTLA. Los Angeles County Supervisor confirms that the citywide emergency alert was a technical error. A correction was issued. Breaking news, evacuation warning alert sent to all LA residents by mistake. People are laughing at LA, man. But you all, people in LA, you all voted for this. And you'll do it again, too. And then people are going to, it's chaos. People are saying it's chaos. People are saying it's chaos. And here's the worst part. You heard it here on Nerd Report. They're going to issue an alert, and people who don't want to leave in the first place are going to convince others not to leave because the last alert was a mistake. They're going to think if this alert was a bullshit, then they're going to think the next one's bullshit. They're not going to take it as serious. Folks, please take all the alerts serious.
Thank you. And the third row there.
David Zahnizer with the Los Angeles Times. I have a two-part budget question. My first part is, can you talk about the reserve fund? Last year, there was a lot of concern that the reserve fund had fallen below 4% and was heading toward that 2.75 number that I think makes it difficult for the city to authorize spending. Do you know how low it has gotten at this point and how quickly you're burning through the reserve?
Do you want to go with your second question too?
Sure. The second question is, do you have any concern about blowing through the reserve before the state and federal money will arrive?
So let me just say that, as I said a few minutes ago, our number one priority right now is to save lives, to protect lives, to save homes.
And avoid criticism. And guess what, ma'am? If you were doing a good job that people loved, and the question, and it wasn't a question, it was like, instead it would be, Mayor Bass, I want to thank you for the amazing job you've done. You would not shut these people down. You would take the compliment. But since it's a criticism, you want to redirect. I'm not.
I'm not here to talk about the status of our budget. If you would like to do that on another occasion, that would be fine in terms of the reserve fund. I don't have those concerns right now. And I will say that after our first priority, then we will look back at everything that was done to do an evaluation to see what worked and what didn't work.
Yeah, but you all colluded to shift the blame at global warming. I'm not saying there's not global warming, but you all have colluded to start talking about global warming, shift the blame on that, and utilities. I'm not even kidding you. And hopefully, by the time this is all over, I'm thinking like her, people will have forgotten about the budget, and they will.
Thank you.
Thank you. We are over time. However, we will have one-on-one interviews.
Cal Fire wants to give an update on structures, et cetera, to get a clarification. I think it's important for you to highlight
Thank you.
numbers.
Excuse me. Good morning. My name is Todd Hopkins. I'm one of the incident commanders for the Cal Fire incident management teams. Of the thousands of structures, I just want to clarify that have been destroyed. We get this initial intel from Intel flights, and what they do is they pick up heat signatures.
And if you've been watching this over the last few minutes or so, look at the difference here. A lot of wispy smoke here.
What I
It
want to
looks a little
clarify is that
better.
a structure,
They've had a lot of
it doesn't
resources.
necessarily mean that it's a residential structure or a commercial structure. It could be a vehicle, it could be an outbuilding. So we do have people, damage inspection teams that are on the ground that will go out to every single home. They will catalog whether a house is destroyed, if it's partially destroyed or just damaged.
Behind
And
the
all that
lumber yard,
information will be
and the
turned over
chief
to
has
the city and to
personally
the county once the damage inspection teams get done. So although we know that there are many homes destroyed, the thousands of structures can mean many different things besides just
Look at what is left is heartbreaking. The community members of Malibu and Santa Monica, which last night declared a curfew because of the tragedy that they're experiencing on top of the fire, people trying to take advantage of this crisis. It's absolutely unacceptable. And we will all stand together to keep each and every neighborhood safe. The Hollywood Hills.
Jennifer says, bless this man and all firefighters. They are the real heroes handling the aftermath of poor decisions from all the areas. Exactly. Also, I do want to also say, bless the civilians who have been directing traffic, putting their lives on the line. There has been that. And Jennifer, that's a great comment. They had nothing to combat the fire with. And they went in there and saved people's pets and people.
That behind each of these updates is a person who deserves our support.
Once again, I am speaking my mind, and so are you. That's why I do feel that this channel is going to be censored. How do you combat that? Do me a solid, subscribe to this channel, but head over to our Rumble channel, Nerd Report on Rumble. Mods, please share the Rumble link. Nerd Report on Rumble. I don't know. I'm not jinxing. I'm just being real.
If you do not have essential travel, please remain indoors. For the latest updates and service impacts, you can go to alerts.metro.net. LA County Assessor Jeffrey Prang has shared property tax installment deferral applications, misfortune, calamity, damage reassessment applications, and disaster relief FAQ for property owners affected by the fires at assessor.lacounty.gov. All LAUSD schools and Santa Monica Malibu Unified School District schools in the 3rd District are closed. With that, mental health supports are available through the county's Department of Mental Health. You can call 800-854-7771. Please use this resource. We know you are experiencing traumatic pain, and we want to do our best to help start healing. Thank you for the outpouring of support from across the county and across the country. Emergency Network LA is coordinating volunteers and support through enla.org. Our county is doing everything possible to respond to these fires until they are contained. And as Chair Barger referenced, today is a day of mourning. And in the words of former President Carter, our faith calls us to do all that we can, wherever we can, with all we can. And in this spirit, indeed in this moment calls us to do the same. Thank you. Next, I'd like to welcome LA County Fire Chief Anthony Maroney.
So good morning. Thank you, Supervisor Horvath. I will be providing an Eaton Fire update in addition to a Region 1 update. The Eaton Fire remains estimated to be 10,600 acres, and growth has been significantly stopped. And we have 0%.
All right, folks. I don't look for support. Now, the craziest, what do you think was the craziest thing that happened so far today? The craziest thing, I think, was sending alerts to everyone in LA and then taking it back. Like, oops. That's nuts.
You've obviously talked a lot about the celebrity homes that have been lost, but this goes much deeper than that.
Oh, it's
That's the mayor is
fundamental. The other thing is, just as somebody who's been in this town most of his life,
I really think that the mayor could be reelected easily in California. Like I said, all you have to do is call your opponent a racist. That's all they do. And that's it. You win.
to watch something like that. And I really do think that people are focused on it. I mean, we've seen the way leaders are judged during crises, and I couldn't believe that. It was such it was a softball question, and not to hear an answer to that. And then to see, Governor Newsom kind of on the defensive when that woman came up to him when he was getting into his SUV. And I just think
Governor Newsom looked terrible with that woman asking him questions, man. He looked, but I'm not shocked by it that much, but I'm shocked that someone had the balls to do that. But I'm not shocked of his attitude, but people love him here. He's going to get reelected if he ran again. No doubt. They called Larry Elder the blackface of white supremacy. Yeah, the guy's from Compton. He lied about being on the phone. The lady called him out on it. She wanted to, I don't know if he lied, but California won't wake up.
That I'm surprised that in the middle of the fire you're starting to kind of feel this groundswell, but I'm really seeing it.
Yeah, and Harvey's referring to, there was a moment, if you hadn't seen it, where Mayor Bass was getting off her plane coming back from Ghana. A reporter came up to her who happened to be, I think, on the same plane or nearby, threw a camera in her face. I don't know if she knew who he was. He's from Ireland. And he was asking her questions, and instead of responding at all, she just stood there, and it went for several minutes. That clip went viral, promoted in part by Elon Musk. Our interview with Rick Caruso went viral, promoted in part by Elon Musk. Donald Trump talking about it, and it seems like especially a lot of the right-wing accounts are really pushing this, but it's going.
Yeah, and of course the right-wing accounts are pushing it because it makes the left look bad. I don't blame them for doing it. And if it was the other way around, the left wing should be calling the right wing. But see, here's the deal. When they say it's the left wing, right wing accounts calling out the mayor for defunding the cops or the fire department, people that are for their team, if you're blue, you're going to be like, oh yeah, F the right. It's like, bro, there's only one truth. There's no my truth, their truth. There's only the truth. And the truth is they messed up. And it happens to be the left wing, suppose, if that's what you want to call it.
Beyond even just some of the conservative media, and
that's
there's
what
a
have
lot
a
of
field
folks.
day.
And then when you have incidents like what we just had, this alert going out, it raises questions about.
If there's common sense, I think California could flip from blue to red because of this shit. It was already the last election. It looked like Trump gained a lot of support, man. I'm telling you.
Competence. It raises questions about who's in charge. Can you do your job? And there's already so many people that are feeling concerned about that, and they don't see their leaders. I mean, I appreciate everybody's busy, and you know,
the leaders are
we've
hiding
asked for days to talk to Governor Newsom, and they've said no every time. We've asked for days to talk to Mayor Bass. And she has been doing a couple press conferences a day, but hasn't been doing one-on-one interviews. I mean, they have an opportunity to get in front of this and talk to people directly for whatever reason, and they're all busy, and I get that, and you got to balance everything. But you know, we certainly would welcome the opportunity to talk to them, and we've had respectful conversations in the past, and would appreciate getting to hear their perspective, because in a vacuum, when you don't speak, other people fill the space, and you've certainly seen a lot of people referring to what Caruso has been talking about.
And that's a diplomatic way of saying, you know, you run the city. And
Rick Caruso has malls. The Americana malls. I forgot what the one in Westwood is. The guy's rich. So what? He has pride in his houses. His malls are beautiful, man. He ran against Mayor Bass. They called him a white supremacist. He lost.
And the city is watching local news because that's where we're getting our information.
Right.
So talk to us.
Right.
And you know, again,
Newsom, instead of doing an interview with us, chose to do an interview with Anderson Cooper, and with respect to him, and the reach of CNN is great, but people that are really focused on the life-saving information right now are watching not only us, but all the local news stations looking for information from their leaders.
And Newsom's answer to Anderson Cooper.
Wait, another alert. Another alert.
And as you hear there, again, those phones there in the studio at Fox 11 LA, they're still continuing to get these emergency alerts. We're going to continue with their coverage, but we don't want to put that tone out over our air here.
I didn't receive an alert.
Of course, folks watching from all over the country. No emergencies at this time, but we can now listen back in to their coverage.
about leadership. And to make it this kind, you know, jump on it politically, I think almost diminishes the point. And, you know, when you have disasters, and I mean, if this is as big a disaster as anything I've seen in the city in my lifetime, and I'm old, and, you know, this is where you need somebody, you know, to hear how we're pulling everything together and what we're doing. And, you know, people are worried about rebuilding, where they're going to live, what they're going to do, how it affects everybody. And you want to hear from leaders, and you want to hear a plan. And I agree with you. I mean, it's like, don't go on. It's simply true. Great, you went on national television for a national platform. This is a local story. And
exactly.
There are, you know, and people are consuming information, not watching CNN. They're watching Channel 11. They're watching Channel 5. They're watching Channel 4. And that's where the focus should be. I just don't get it.
All right, Harvey, thank you for sharing your perspective. We really appreciate it. And
and one of the things I'm sure you'll push out on TMZ is that the Monday night football game with the Rams and the Vikings at SoFi, NFL just announced that they will be moving that to Glendale, Arizona, because of the wildfires.
Yeah. Good riddance.
Wow.
It's impacting so many different industries and walks of life. All right.
Take a second, folks, to join our Rumble. I'm dropping the link in the comments. Nerd Report on Rumble. I'm dropping the link in the comments right now. Hopefully it comes in. Join our Rumble. Link is in the comments. No report on Rumble.
See, as scheduled. So the game's still going to go at 5 o'clock our time on
Yeah, I
Monday
don't care
night.
about
It
the
just
game.
will
Who
not
cares
be
about the game?
in
Does anyone
Los
care about the
Angeles.
game? I don't
Tickets
care about
will
the
go on
game.
sale at
Screw
10
the
o'clock
game.
in the morning on Friday through SeatGeek.com and noon Pacific for the Rams season ticket holders and noon Pacific to the general public. So not clear what happens exactly if you had bought tickets already for Monday night's game. But again, the Rams, Cardinals, wild card game, which the Rams were supposed to host, will now be played in Arizona instead.
Okay, so this is video from the other night, it looks like. Is this the Palisades fire that we're looking at?
Look at how bad that looks. So bad.
I'm sorry. Studio, really? This is the Studio City fire from last night? That was up in the hills.
Studio City.
Okay. Yeah, this doesn't look like that.
Hopefully we can get some insight
Clarity,
into
yeah.
what exactly it is that we're looking at here.
But the big fire, here we go. This is a live picture of the Kenneth fire. Lots of white smoke. That's a good sign, but it's massive. I know. That broke out at 3.
Now, folks, let me explain to you something. The way these fires are positioned, the way they're spreading, I know a lot of people were saying that I should evacuate and go to an Airbnb. Those aren't safe either because we don't know where the fire is going to land. The Palisade, California is massive, man. The Palisade is really far away from Hollywood Hills. Hollywood Hills is extremely far away from Pasadena. They're all spread out. The winds are calm, Dennis.
Well, some breaking news.
Could you guys hear this?
Now on those wildfires in LA, Sky News has seen the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, who's come under increasing scrutiny over what's happening there. He's been confronted by an angry LA resident. We can take a listen to their exchange.
Governor, you got a second? Governor,
They say
Governor,
no.
I live here, Governor.
They actually say
That
no,
was my
man.
daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
And the security, the guard pushes her, man.
Talking to the president right now.
Well, some breaking news.
The guard puts his hands on her. I don't know, man.
To bring you now on those wildfires in LA, Sky News has seen the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, who's come under increasing scrutiny over what's happening there. He's been confronted by an angry LA resident. We can take a listen to their exchange.
Governor, you got a second? Governor, I live here, Governor. That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to
He
specifically
wasn't talking to her.
answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
This lady's
I'm
good.
sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the
Okay, he said he's talking to the president, to her, and then he says that there's no signal. Which one is it, dude?
Why is the president not taking your call?
because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get cell service.
Wow.
Let's get it. Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now. And it's to immediately get reimbursements, individual assistance, and to help you. I'm devastated for you. I'm so sorry, especially for your daughter. I have 4 kids. Losing the school.
Everyone
Yeah.
who went to school there, they lost their homes. They lost 2 homes because they were living in one and building another. Governor, please tell me, what are you going to do with the president right now?
We're getting the resources to help rebuild. We're getting
Why
the
was there no
resources to do
water
it.
in the hydrants,
That's
Governor?
all that's all literally.
Is it going to be different next time?
It has to be. Has to be. Of course.
What are you going to do?
I'm doing
To
everything
fill the
I can.
hydrants. I would fill them up personally. You know that. I would fill up the hydrants myself. But would you do that?
I would do whatever I can.
But you're not. I see do you know there's water dripping over there, Governor?
Facts.
There's water coming out there. You can use it.
I appreciate it. I'm going to make the call to address everything I can right now, including making sure people
I'd
are
like
safe.
to make sure you do. Can I have an opportunity to at least
Look, there's someone saying in the chat that this was staged. It doesn't matter.
somebody
Those
have
questions
a
are
contract?
legit. Those questions are
Have your
legit.
contact information.
Right there.
If the reporter was there to ambush him, those questions are legit questions. Do you guys agree? Was this staged? And if so, does it matter if it was staged? Those questions are legit questions, and he couldn't handle them. Even if it was staged, that's irrelevant. Sorry. Even if it was staged, it's irrelevant. Even if the woman was waiting for him, it's irrelevant. I mean, staged as far as her waiting for him, I'm sure he didn't. I'm sure the governor wasn't like, hey, man, ask me these questions to make me look bad. But as far as maybe she was a reporter working for Sky, getting ready to ask those questions, she was very good. He was very good. Everything he said, she had a rebuttal that he couldn't answer.
To bring you now on those wildfires.
Scale of 1 to 10, how great was that lady?
In LA, Sky News has seen the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, who's come under increasing scrutiny over what's happening there. He's been confronted by an angry LA resident. We can take a listen to their exchange.
Governor, you got a second?
I
Governor,
don't
Governor, I
actually.
live here, Governor. That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what
He's literally talking to the president right now. She says, let me see, and he can't because he's not talking to him.
we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking.
He says he's literally talking to the president, but he's tried 5 times to talk to him, so he's not talking to him.
Around to make the
Why
call.
is the president? Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
Some breaking news to bring you
Wow.
now on those wildfires in LA. Sky News has seen the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, who's come under increasing scrutiny over what's happening there. He's been confronted by an angry LA resident. We can take a listen to their exchange.
He says, I'm literally talking to the president, and then she goes, let me see, and he goes, I can't because I'm not talking to the president because there's no signal. Holy shit. This. My God.
Breaking news to bring you now on those wildfires in LA. Sky News has seen the governor of California, Gavin
Oh, she didn't
Newsom,
believe him
who's
because he was
come under
lying.
Increasing scrutiny over what's happening there. He's been confronted by an angry LA resident. We can take a listen to their exchange.
Governor, you got a second? Governor, I live here, Governor. That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him.
Guard
I
pushed her
promise.
hard,
Literally
too.
talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I
it
don't
doesn't-
believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make
Take off your glasses, man.
the
Why
call
is the president not taking your call?
because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get cell service.
So
There's
let's
no
get
cell
it.
service.
Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now. And it's to immediately get reimbursements, individual assistance, and to help you. I'm devastated for you. I'm so sorry, especially for your daughter. I have 4 kids losing the school.
Everyone who went to school there, they lost their homes. They lost 2 homes because they were living in one and building another. Governor, please tell me what are you going to do with the president right now?
We're getting the resources to help rebuild. We're getting
Why
the
was there no
resources to do
water
it.
in the hydrants,
That's all
Governor?
It's all literally.
Is it?
If you think the governor's not being honest, do me a solid, subscribe to this channel right now. Subscribe right now. If you think he's not being honest, subscribe on the top right hand corner. If you're on a mobile phone, subscribe right now. If you think he's not being honest.
Going to be different
If
next
you
time.
think he's being honest, also subscribe. Why not?
Of course.
What are you going to do?
I'm doing
To fill
everything
the
I can.
hydrants. I would fill them up personally. You know that.
I literally have.
I would fill up the hydrants myself.
I understand.
But would you do that?
I would do whatever I can.
But you're not. I see the. Do you know there's water dripping over there, Governor? There's water coming out there. You can use it.
I appreciate it. I'm going to make the call to address everything I can right now, including making sure people
I'd
are
like
safe.
to make sure you do. Can I have an opportunity to at least tell people you're doing what you're saying you're doing? Could somebody have a contact? Can I have your contact information?
Right there.
Well, some breaking news to bring you now on those wildfires
Insane.
in LA. Sky News has seen the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, who's come under increasing scrutiny over what's happening there. He's been confronted by an angry LA resident. We can take a listen to their exchange.
Governor, you got a second?
Folks, by the way, we have a Patreon that you could support the channel with. You can support the channel via Patreon. There is a paid option. It's like $1.99. You could join that one, but you could join the free one too. And we're gonna offer free streams there, free exclusives. So join the free Patreon right now. It's gonna be open for a limited time. There's a free option. You can join right now. I'm dropping the link in the comments. 100% free. There's an option like that. You could also go the extra step and join the paid membership, because I know you love us.
Well, some breaking news to bring you now on those wildfires in LA. Sky News has seen the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, who's come under increasing scrutiny over what's happening there. He's been confronted by an angry LA resident. We can take a listen to their exchange.
Governor, you got a second? Governor, I live here, Governor. That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the
Why
call.
is the president not taking your call?
Because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get cell service.
So let's get it. Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now. And it's to immediately
Evo Cyber Nation, thank you for joining the Patreon, the paid version today. I'm dropping the link again.
get reimbursements, individual assistance, and to help you. I'm devastated for you. I'm so sorry, especially for your daughter. I have 4 kids losing the school.
Everyone who went to school there, they lost their homes. They lost 2 homes because they were living in one and building another. Governor, please tell me, what are you going to do with the president right now?
We're getting the resources to help rebuild.
Why was there no water in the hydrants, Governor?
It's all
Because
literally.
of global
Is it going to be
warming.
different next time?
It has to be. Has to be. Of course.
What are you going to do?
I'm doing
To
everything
fill the
I can.
hydrants. I would fill them up personally. You know that. I would fill up the hydrants myself. But would you do that?
He leaves.
Do whatever I can.
But you're not. I see the. Do you know there's water dripping over there, Governor? There's water coming out there. You can use it.
Man, she really got him. I'm doing whatever.
But you're not. Fill the hydrants
Wow.
that are in
I'll
the
do whatever I
hydrants,
can, but
Governor.
you're not.
It's all literally.
Is it going to be different next time?
It has to be. Has to be. Of course.
What are you going to do?
I'm doing
To
everything
fill the
I can.
hydrants. I would fill them up personally. You know that. I would fill up the hydrants myself. But would you do that?
I would do whatever I can.
But you're not. I see the. Do you know there's water dripping over there, Governor? There's water coming out there. You can use it.
I appreciate it. I'm going to make the call to address everything I can.
I thought you
right
were
now,
already on the
including
call.
Making sure people
I'd
are
like
safe.
to make sure you do. Can I have an opportunity to at least tell people you're doing what you're saying you're doing? Could somebody have a contact? Can I have your contact information?
Right there.
Yo, so imagine how this would have looked if he didn't have glasses on. That would have been crazy, dude. You would have been able to see the actual face expressions. Here we go. More emergency alerts. Los Angeles County residents mistakenly received emergency evacuation alert. This is real. What's worse, we ran out of water or emergency alerts that aren't real, that are mistakes? I see a lot of new subscribers today. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I saw a lot of supports, a lot of people concerned for my safety, everything. I really appreciate you. I'm going to turn it for the next minute to the comments area. If you have any questions or any input, I'll try to highlight you. And I also want the new people, the new subscribers, to please introduce yourselves so we could welcome you to the Nerd Report community. Subscribe right now, and I'll try to highlight as many as I can. If I miss you, I'm sorry. This is Nerd Report. Just so you know, we go live all the time. Make sure to have the notifications on. Check out our standalone videos. Running out of water is more ridiculous than mistakenly telling people that the fire is coming your way. They're both pretty bad. False alarms. Dude, okay, so this is the thing. False alerts don't end people's lives. Dude, but a lot of people aren't going to believe those alerts anymore. Thanks, Wendy. I may do some exclusive streams on Patreon, all right? So head over to the Patreon, join them right now. Join us on Patreon and Rumble. Now, this is going to be another shocker. During Jimmy Carter's funeral today, to see Obama and Trump sitting together, laughing, having a good time. That's weird. Now I'm really scared. That's weird, man. And then what's weirder is that they look like they're both don't like Kamala Harris, right? There's another one that's even. It's kind of crazy. Let me see if I can find it. Wait. Looters is trending? This isn't real. Get the. This is bullshit. No way. Folks, I am so tired, but this is looters are increasing. What the more looters?
As I was getting my whole family out, all you have in your mind is just you're in survival mode at that point. I saw men coming into our neighborhoods. Police confirmed it. She had this to say. Take a listen.
It was wild. We just started seeing all these cars pull up, doors open, and groups of men running up our street, going up to the doors of these houses. And we weren't sure what was going on. I'm thinking,
Is that real, man? Looters? No. This isn't real. Is that real?
In this home, thank you. This home, they had some fire in the backyard, and like I said, I don't know if it has reached the home yet or not.
We can't try. You did try and go over outside.
Oh, excuse me, is this your home? Oh, okay.
The backside of your house.
Right there.
Like you can see, it's all pumping. The whole thing is burning. So.
Damn. Is this your home, sir?
This is my auntie's home. This is my cousin's home, Aaron.
I'm Chip with KTL. I'm really sorry for what you guys are going through. Tell me kind of what, how was your auntie here when this started? What happened?
Nah, we got everybody out. We was just leaving the area to make sure everything was good. And, you know, just thinking that it was going to clear up. But for sure, we didn't think this was going to happen down here. We seen it started miles away.
Were you here when it started?
Not here.
They're not looters, man. Bullshit. Looters arrested. I don't know. Half these videos, you gotta question them, man. Burbank is under alert. Mandatory evacuation. Kenneth Fire in Woodland Hills is burning south. Evacuation orders for Van Owen south to Burbank Boulevard and the Valley Circle Boulevard East E Valley Circle. Now that's even, oh boy. The fact of the matter is this. I cannot stay here all day. I need to take a little bit of a break. If I take a break, would you all promise me to come back when I go live? Hit the notification. Hit the notification. Hit that one if you'll come back, folks. Yes. I'll keep you up to date. Please subscribe. We could reach 70,400 if 40 people subscribe right now. Let's get some more subscribers right now. We're almost at, we could reach 100,000, man. I know it. We could reach 100,000 subscribers. It's up to you. Just press that button. 100% free. There's more news I couldn't get to, but maybe I will later. Probably the news we worked on today is probably going to be old news in 15 minutes. The winds are about to come back too. My contact just fell out of my eyeball. Welcome, new subscribers. We'll be back. Nerd out.